Test, test, test. my advice is, if you have a brand and a reselling, I think they should be separate. And then if you add another brand, I think you should have another account for that brand, for bookkeeping, for possible investments, for deals you can get with the bank, for exiting. Just
the advice for start the wholesale is have two accounts, one for private label and one for.
Yeah, I definitely would not mix reselling and private label. Like, there's actually the only argument for keeping them together is not paying. It comes down to some software you'd need to get another license for the account, and $39.99 a month, the extra set of books. Or no, if you kept them together, you wouldn't have the extra set of books. But when you add up those expenses, they don't come close to the risks that are. For example, reselling model has risks, even if you know the brand. Like, Amazon just sometimes says, sorry, I got to see a letter and you're down for a few weeks. So like, yeah, I highly recommend having a different seller.
Do you have a brand for wholesale? No. Do you have brand for wholesale? No.
Whoa.
To sell wholesale, do you have brand? ¿Tú tienes una marca registrada para vender wholesale o no necesitas?
No, tengo una marca registrada, trademark, por cada marca, private label.
Sí, por private label.
En wholesale, tengo varias trademarks, pero for the PL wholesale hybrid, que es private label. Wholesale, you don't need a trademark. Wholesale, you just need an LLC. And
Te diría que esos son los únicos que pudieran ir dentro de ese wholesale.
yeah, so let's go ahead and get this started. I see Steve. Stefan said no sound yet. Yeah, Stefan, I just popped the audio on, so you should be able to hear me now. And I'm gonna get the cubes in place as everybody else starts trickling in. All right. Let me just pop. Hey, Patty.
How you doing?
Everybody's here. Good. I just went live and have a hot mic, but let me say hi.
Déjame.
How you
De
doing?
todas maneras, yo lo está
Good,
tomando
surprise.
de Canadá. Seguro
I know.
para
I gotta tell
dudas
you
y
some
cositas.
stuff.
Cool.
Déjame agarrar un poquito.
All right. Let's, as people start trickling in on Miami time, but we will get going. I will pull open YouTube on my phone so anybody on the stream can ask their questions and I can see it. Good to have the VIP, Patty Whitlock here from eBay, nothing but eBay.
I want to go ahead and tell you some stuff. It's scary. Okay. Let's see. Let's put all the phones on mute, right?
All good. All right, there we go. I should be able to see questions.
Okay. I can never go ahead and get anything going from my phone to my computer.
I'm hoping I can see comments here.
Ever. Okay. I'm gonna put this here until
Where would the comments go?
Okay.
All right, guys. Anybody can leave a comment that would help.
What is this?
Cesar, when you can, do you mind having the YouTube open on your phone that way to this stream, so if anyone has any questions, I can see it? Because I'm not seeing it from my phone for some reason.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, or anybody can, that would be nice. It would be the Wizards of Ecom YouTube channel. And I see the stream, I'm not even seeing a section for comments, so I think that may be an issue. Some announcements. So I'll mention this probably a few times through. Next conference that we're all going to as a group is Alibaba Co-Create. If you go to alibabacocreate.com and use the code Wizards of Ecom, you get 20% off the ticket. I think their entry ticket's like $150 or something. Their VIP ticket, which I think is the best deal, is like $900 or $999, but it comes with hotel included, and so does the mid-range ticket as well, the premium, which is like $5 something. But it comes with 2 nights at the hotel of the conference, which is a nice one too, by the way. It comes with your food throughout the event, which you're gonna spend a bit in Vegas. And it comes with a $200 credit on Alibaba. So anything you wanna buy off Alibaba, even if it's in excess of $200, you're gonna be able to apply that credit towards it. So you're basically getting what I think is like $600 and something back, the convenience of staying at the hotel, access to the gala events, and a lot of extra stuff while you're there. So I think it more than pays for itself. And this is their early bird, so the price will go, even when the price goes up, I still think it's a deal, but you could. We had our biggest spike on the podcast this last week with positive reviews coming in from everybody, so I appreciate that a lot. That's literally, besides downloads, that is literally what moves the podcast. There's no search algorithms for podcasts, so when somebody's looking at a show, one of the first things they look at is the reviews, and that gets them to listen to it. And then hopefully I take care of the rest. The show is good enough that they wanna keep the show on their phone and keep downloading it. But we had our biggest spike of reviews, and they were 5-star positive reviews, so it could have been worse.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so that was really nice. I really appreciate that. What else was there announcement-wise? Sponsors you see on the screen, very thankful for the sponsors. So far the feedback on this has been good. Instead of me droning on for like 15 minutes of all the different sponsors we have, which I think was doing them a disservice, as well as it was becoming robotic on my side going on for that long, but very blessed to have them as sponsors. We say no to more sponsors than we say yes. I do believe we have Jungle Scout added to this sponsor deck as well, which is one of our newest sponsors, and we should have the banner soon from them. As I mentioned before, I haven't made the official announcement, but just saying it here before we go public with it, but we've connected with Alibaba, and it looks like Alibaba is going to be sponsoring the group as well, which is fantastic. And yeah, so if you're working with a competitor, one of these sponsors, I'm not saying that you should just stop and switch to one of these, but if you're on the market looking for one, I definitely can recommend the ones that we have. And at a minimum, it would be nice if you saw them at a conference to go up and say hi, because if you're having any of the sugar-free, carb-free empanadas and croquetas that we have here, they are from them, right? So you can at least thank them for it, say how appreciative you are that they've been able to, help support this. Otherwise, my wife would not let me keep doing this. What else am I missing on this? Announcements. I feel like I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. I'll remember later. Audio checks would be nice. So we have 2 of the cubes out there, which as long as you're close to it, you can just speak to it. But if you happen to see, as people start coming in, that somebody over there has a question and you're near a cube, it helps if you can just toss the cube. They're designed to where audio cuts as you throw them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How
and
cool.
They hit the ground, they do anything, you're not gonna damage them. As a matter of fact, don't try to hit someone in the head with them, but if you do, nothing's gonna happen. I mean, it is like sponge, right? But yeah, they work fine. I thought that was pretty cool. And my audio, hopefully you're hearing good. Today's event, we haven't had one of these in a bit, but we're doing a nod towards Arbitrage today. So we haven't had an Arbitrage event in quite some time, actually, since a good friend of mine, Gabe, used to put on some events in the group. When our group first started, I would say every 2 months or every 3 months, they would do something called Wizards in the Wild. It's corny, but we would basically go as a group on a field trip to a store to go scanning. And even at the time, I would raise my hand and just say, listen, it's been a year or two since. At that time, I was like, listen, it's been a year or two since I've actually gone out here and scanned and like bought some stuff to flip on Amazon. But this is what I was doing not too long ago for it to work. I passed that torch to Gabe because he is in the trenches every day doing it, and it felt more authentic to have it that way. Michael Morejon is presenting today. He's been a seller on Amazon for 9 years, he's adding a lot of wholesale into his business model, but he still does arbitrage, and very, very current on arbitrage. So I spoke to him about, you know, getting some arbitrage back on the map. The group is a group, it's a community, it's not a dictatorship, and I try to like prove that through actions. If it was a if it was just that, we would talk about private label and like the craziest, you know, things we can do with ads all day. But the idea is, I don't care where you're at, what model you want to do, what channel you want to sell on. The idea is to have something in place to help everyone in the group, and I know arbitrage is a model that a lot of people like. To be honest, I think it is highly addictive. I love the idea in the back of my head. I think I still tell myself sometimes, like, if everything went to hell and I lost everything and you start over again, as long as I had a smartphone and an app and my Amazon account, I feel like I could. I mean, I have the work ethic behind it, because it is a grind. I don't think anyone's going to debate me on this, but I have the work ethic that I'll just be able to pay all my bills, and I'll be able to flip, and I'll be able to do everything else just off the stores that are around me. They're almost like mini banks to me, right? And the game, but that's how I look at it. It's like,
I know,
and that little gamification, they're just holding my money,
Yeah.
right? And occasionally they have these deals, and those deals sometimes free up, you know, savings opportunities. So I'm just flaving my money. So I like, to me, that's how I gamify it and justify doing it. For the longest time, I said that it is the safest model to start with on Amazon, right?
Yes.
It requires the least amount of capital. I think it is like almost criminally irresponsible to know nothing about Amazon and just get right into private label. It is insane to do something like that. And then also with wholesale, there is some learning curve there. Like, it's a pretty steep learning curve in the beginning of wholesale. Whereas arbitrage, it's like the time from, hey, I want to start a business, to having something sold online is rapid. So you can fail fast. You could go get something and say, I think this is a deal, and you send it, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was gonna make $10. In reality, you lost $3. But now you have something to look at and say, why did I think I made $10, but I lost $3? Oversized, or it was heavy, oh my God. You never forget that lesson. Like, moving forward, you're gonna say that, you know, this is something that you gotta take into consideration moving forward. So it's like the best lesson you could ever have doing it like that. So I think that's good. What I don't like about arbitrage, and I really hadn't said much about, because I really didn't have a better alternative, was I really don't like the idea of getting hit with IP complaints all the time. I really don't like the idea of investing a lot into a business that is very labor intensive, right? And that the majority of the brands whose products I'm reselling really don't want me to exist. You know, so it's like you're operating in an area that's like no one knows what to do about it, and in the meantime I'm making money. So it's like, I think it's good to start, but try to get out. But since there wasn't a better alternative, and if somebody comes in here with, you know, $1,000, I'm not gonna tell them they should order, you know, $800 and stuff from China. So it was like, yeah, you know, start with arbitrage. Over the last year, as you know, a lot of people in the group have been testing out the Amazon influencer program. If you want to keep doing arbitrage, fine, totally. And Michael's going to show you some amazing ways how to do it. But at a minimum, I think you should also be doing the Amazon influencer program. Look, just do it for an hour a day. That's it, an hour. Just do it for an hour a day. As a matter of fact, do it for an hour a day, and then the stuff you buy from arbitrage, review it. That's it. Like, you're going to the store, you're literally buying a whole bunch of stuff. A good percentage of those are probably going to be good opportunities for you to review. At a minimum, just put an hour a day into reviewing the stuff, and whatever was in your haul from that day, review that as well. And I think what you're quickly going to find is, instead of being in a position of, you know, I'm sick, I can't go out for 4 days, that means your business kind of shuts off because you can't, you know, feed the beast. And instead you see that every morning you're still getting paid, you know, $20, $30, $50, $100 a day just in commissions for work you did a few weeks ago. I think it's going to help you not feel as stuck with arbitrage. So if you're just starting and you have not started arbitrage, I would even say consider straight up Amazon influencer program. But at a minimum, do both would be my 2 cents. Yeah? Any questions? No? All right. This is when we would have been starting. So I'm glad we got rolling before everyone comes in.
We have a question that is that, do you believe that this model is still profitable?
arbitrage?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say something very unpopular, and it's that the Amazon arbitrage model is one of the more, okay, there's a lot of things you gotta factor in, but the Amazon arbitrage model could be one of the more profitable models that's out there. Then wholesale, then private label, but there's a lot of other factors I think you should put in.
Even though, I'm sorry to interrupt you, even though considering the new low inventory fee that is gonna come in?
Yeah, I think the low inventory fee is gonna have a pretty nasty impact on that. But, I mean, I still wouldn't say, remember, you have, I feel like there's a, I don't wanna go too deep into this, because Michael Morejon's gonna, I don't wanna steal anything from his presentation, but you have, there's not just one color of arbitrage seller, right? You have the arbitrage seller just walks into a store, they say, do you have a clearance section? No, and they leave. And you have the other one that is more methodical on how to do it and understands brands. And you keep going, you have the other one that knows how to stack local coupons, store coupons, brand deals, and credit card points. You have you keep going, so like, it's not all one color. So the low inventory fee, I think, to use the term I hate hearing in the Amazon space, I think the low inventory fee is gonna be an extinction level event for the arbitrage sellers that walk into the store and say, do you have a clearance section? And then they just leave, like they don't know anything else.
Right.
I think they're done, right? But arbitrage sellers that chose to stay in the arbitrage world and focus on efficiencies, there is a lot there. And chose to really optimize for this, I don't think you can ever stop. I mean, I don't think you can ever stop that model short of something actually that I think eBay's combating, which is trying to make it to where you can't resell a product of a brand unless the brand gives you permission. What's the name of that, Patty?
The Vera program?
Not the Vero one. What's the one that was going, that people were trying to push through?
Oh,
They're still-
well, yeah, this is why, I came here, because I
Yeah.
wanted to go ahead and
What was the
talk
name
to
of the
you about
program
it.
though? Because Tom and I were talking about something on a chat.
It's called, Shop Safe.
Shop Safe.
Shop Safe.
And-
And it is very scary. And right now, because of the fact that we are in an election year, okay, Congress is famous for trying to pass bills under the rug before, the new administration takes over. And they have put some stuff in that Shop Safe bill that will blow your mind.
And Shop Safe, fill me in on it, but basically Shop Safe
So
says.
Shop Safe, what they do, or what the senators in this bill are introducing, is that they are making the consumer aware that they are this bill will be protecting against, fakes, okay? And so that's how they were building it
But
to the
the
consumer.
way they're choosing to enforce that protection.
Exactly, so the way that they're choosing to enforce that protection is that they're giving the companies, okay, let's say Nike's, Louis Vuitton, Coach bags or something like that, the sole authority to say that that item that you just picked up in your retail arbitrage is fake. And once that company says it's fake, the venue, Amazon or eBay or anybody, has to go ahead and take it down, no questions about it. The only way that you could go ahead and bring it back up will be by contacting an attorney and fighting the Nike and the Coach or the Louis Vuitton.
So basically,
okay?
they're gonna give brands the authority
Okay.
to say,
So,
that's not an authorized
That-
reseller, but by
But
saying.
it's a fake.
But by saying it's a fake without
Yeah.
having to prove anything.
without having to prove anything. So now what's scary, okay, it's not that, because, we do have the Vero program, and then, you get a slap and whatever, and you move on. What's scary is you have 3 strikes and you're out. So that means that if you were caught selling, if Nike's decided that your brand was fake, okay, you were selling a fake, that's strike 1. Then you moved on to, I don't know, Adidas, and Adidas did the same thing to you. And then you moved on and said, well, I'm not gonna go ahead and sell anymore like that, I'm gonna go ahead and sell Lancome, okay? Then Lancome, will say something like, oh yeah, she's selling fakes. Now, you have 3 strikes. You know what the bill says? After 3 strikes, you are forbidden to sell ever again in your lifetime in any platform. So there is no, because they are going to request that if it,
Unless you get a new EIN.
no, they're requesting social security, they're requesting all that kind of stuff. So once you go through that, you are banned, unless I mean, I don't know, go with your family members or something like that, but then if you're caught, then your family member can go ahead and also go to jail for, breaking the bill.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff out there. And I'm wondering, was that what you were trying, did you ever get the details on that about possible mass suspension? No?
You mean just looking now?
No, we were talking on WhatsApp and you said something, heard anything about a mass suspension?
I had heard that a lot of the wholesalers got taken down last week. A lot of wholesalers did. I mean, but I thought you would have, but a lot of them got taken down, similar to what you're talking about. A lot of the brands were sent, specifically for those people who are doing wholesale PL, and they weren't listing the wholesale item, that was a higher priced item, and getting permission from that brand. So the wholesale PL model is where people that were bundling items together were getting shut down.
Without the permission of the brand.
Correct, that's what I was hearing,
Yeah.
without the brand
That makes
permission.
sense.
Yeah, so that's more like a Vero and not a shop say
Yeah.
type of thing. So which you could go ahead and challenge, and you might be able to go ahead and go through it, and get back your permission to sell again.
Yeah, so the question for that person, the entry level, I don't know anything arbitrage seller that just looks for the clearance rack, is my best description of it, and then bails if there's not one. I think the short-term storage fees kill that seller, like they just go bye-bye, The other ones, everyone's gonna feel it, but like to some extent, but I don't see it, I don't see it doing so much harm to those other types of arbitrage sellers that it still doesn't make them as a whole a more profitable model. The thing is, I think there's a lot of things that are not counted into the arbitrage model, like your time running around hunting down these things, and when you do that, it gets a little murkier in my opinion. But yeah, it would be, in profitability, it would be arbitrage, wholesale, private label. All things being equal, there's some exceptions in all.
What you guys were just saying about the account being taken down last week.
Yeah.
I had 3 of my listings taken down this morning from products that I was finding on retail arbitrage abundant in there. I don't have permission to bundle from the brand, but my account wasn't suspended or anything, but listings were taken down.
There's gonna be exceptions where you could just list stuff and do stuff on Amazon without permission from the brand. I don't think there's ever a good idea to do that, to not get permission from the brand and bundle it, because, like, say you get away with it. You're gonna scale this. At some point, I would rather get popped in the beginning when I did it for my first 5 units. At some point, you're gonna be ordering a few thousand units of each of these things, and you don't wanna get stuck with them then. I mean, you're asking for permission rather than forgiveness or whatever, or forgiveness rather than permission, way too late in the game, right? You probably also had to lie or fudge things too much along the way to justify how you were ordering that many things. So it just compounds the problem. It's not like the biggest source of value in all this and profitability. I know it sounds hokey, but it's like, it's the relationship ROI that you're building with these brands. So like the knowing so-and-so that you can contact to get a better price and be able to put this together as a wholesale PO hybrid, like you don't want to skip that. Like it's the most valuable part of that business, the stability.
But a lot of these brands, they, like I'm buying the products at a retail level. I'm not buying it at a wholesale level. So like,
You definitely want to, if you're doing it at a retail arbitrage level, but you're thinking about doing wholesale PL hybrid, notice how it's not called retail arbitrage PL hybrid. It's wholesale PL hybrid because you need to have that wholesale relationship for this to work. Yeah, there has to be the relationship there, whereas with the arbitrage model, you don't have the relationship with the brand or the distributor or the authority who can make that decision, the decision maker in that relationship. Like your influence ends with the store manager and the ability to go in the back and get deal, which is great, but it doesn't extend beyond that. Yeah, does that make sense?
it does.
Yeah. All right.
So why did the accounts get shut down? Because
I heard the extra clarification there, but I'm not surprised by it. There's a lot of people the rules for a wholesale PL hybrid relationship, there's a few. One of them is that the brand name on that listing needs to be the brand of the product that is most valuable in that marriage. What you have is a lot of people that'll just get like an index card or a sticker or a recipe, and they'll just like add it on and be like, this is my wholesale PL hybrid. Okay, cool. It sounds like we knew it was coming, like, but it sounds like they decided to just, you know, stop that. But if you go back and you look at, you know, we were talking about Buy the Cup. I bet you Buy the Cup wasn't affected because Buy the Cup had a thing of Coffee Mate, you know, powder, cost almost nothing. His heavy spoon probably does cost more. You know the example I'm talking about, right? The one we showed the last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Probably does cost more, or it's close enough that it's not whatever. If he had a smiley face sticker in the front of that thing, he'd be down.
Gotcha.
So that's the difference. Also, brands just want to control, you know, the positioning of their stuff. Imagine if you had a brand that was trying to like give the perception of like high-end luxury and everything like that, and you give me an example of something that communicates cheap as a brand. You just don't want to be associated, you know, that would hurt the image of the brand if it was put next to another brand that was considered low quality crap.
It could be a plastic spoon.
Could be it could be a plastic spoon, yeah. Could be a cheap spork. Imagine if it was a spork and not a heavy spoon. It was a spork and a high-end coffee creamer. They probably don't want to be associated with that.
I will say my experience with the wholesale PL has been, if you approach the brand and you walk up to them in the right way, and you have your infrastructure built, meaning that you say, this is what I do, I represent brands, and what I'm doing, and you go right through the front door and say, I'm gonna take your brand and I'm gonna bundle it with my brand. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I wanna have that buy box by myself. All those other brands are gonna be selling that same product. And there's gonna be 16 of them, and they're all gonna be racing to the bottom, and you're gonna sell it for a penny less, and you're gonna sell it for a penny less, and you're gonna sell it for a penny less. The next thing you know, your brand, Mr. Customer, Mr. Brand Owner, your brand that you've spent so much time developing, now that price has gone down. So I'm gonna actually protect the integrity and the pricing of your brand, because I wanna sell it for the highest price I possibly can. I don't wanna get into this race with everybody else. Take a grocery product, for example. Somebody in, I'm not gonna pick on Little Rock, Arkansas, they can't move hot chocolate. So if they can't move the hot chocolate, what do? The guy's like, I got a pallet of this, I'm gonna send it into Amazon, I don't care, I'm gonna fire sale it. Now, everybody else here who's been selling that hot chocolate, that's been trying to make money off of it, now all of a sudden gets torpedoed, and someone's selling it for half of it. Nobody's gonna make any money whatsoever. The brand's not happy. By the time this guy sells it and runs off, he's gone, and that's it. But if you can actually get in there and say, listen, I'm gonna do the hot chocolate with you with a nice cup or whatever, so I can protect the integrity of the brand. And I'm gonna advertise, which is what Buy the Cup does. I'm gonna advertise on your keyword. I'm advertising. These other people are not advertising, I promise you that. If you go in the front door like that and you tell them that, hey, listen, I'm there to protect your brand, I think the conversation totally changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a brand that's big, like we can take the milk frother with the Duracell. I mean, Duracell is its own thing, doesn't necessarily need that milk frother to sell anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, in some instance, that still kind of work. I guess, I don't know, by using the words powered by or something, I don't know.
Well, you could say powered by, compatible with, if you just need to show compatibility.
But what would make Duracell say, okay, yeah, we would stand with you?
What he just said.
You know?
Yeah, what he just said. Duracell wants brands who have products that require batteries to
Right.
use Duracell. That's a no-brainer for them. We have a brand, and we want to put this in the list. Now, if you're Duracell, do you say no?
Yeah, I mean, but
Not
it's not even like it's,
necessarily,
a brand of, like Hamilton Beach, you know, milk frother. It's Zule. I mean, it's not, you know, that much of a household name, but still probably sort of.
Even though it crushes Hamilton Beach on sales. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But like, in that inquisitive, somebody else that just, you know, it's been around for, you know.
So are you
20 years.
are you reselling Zule or are you reselling Duracells?
No, I'm just asking.
So if you were reselling a Zule,
Uh-huh.
and if Duracell said no, I don't know, go to Energizer. I don't know, go somewhere else with that, or go to some other bundle and don't give up on that. But if you're gonna go after the main brand and bundle it with something else, because what you're talking about now is really bundling. You're not talking about wholesale and PL.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about you putting your own brand or your own sticker, your own trademarked name of your something along next to it to tell them that, hey, I'm protecting the integrity of Zule, right?
Right.
When you guys say like a brand name, do you mean like on the description or like where it says like brand?
Here, let me show you a visual so we can.
Let's say you were selling the, I don't know, Folgers coffee, and you had your own brand. So if I had Tom's Sugar Sticks, Tom's Sugar Sticks, that's my trademark name through the United States Patent Attorney's Office. So now I'm bundling the Folgers coffee with some sugar sticks, okay? And I'm telling the brand owner, listen, this is what I'm doing to protect the integrity and the pricing of your brand. Everybody else is gonna be flipping Folgers and pushing that price down, and you're wondering why Folgers is now looked at as a cheap coffee. We don't wanna do that.
Right.
But you're gonna have to go through the effort of getting that trademarked, like what By the Cup did here.
Yeah, so this is Twinnings, this is done right. Twinnings, there's 40 of them. Grand total cost on these might be, it's pennies. It's this tiny little, it costs nothing to do these 40. It probably doesn't cost $1.50 on cost on Twinnings. The packaging alone on these honey sticks probably costs more than all of Twinnings. So the cost here, this makes sense. So they have added their honey sticks to this bundle. They have permission from Twinnings. I mean, I wasn't there when they had the conversation. And I just happen to know Twinnings is a pretty easy one for them to get to say yes, but they're one of the largest ones in the tea space, by the way.
Yeah.
They're like the Duracell of tea, or the, you know what I mean? Like, they said yes, so these people presented this right, and here you go. Now you're saying by the brand name, I mean this.
Okay.
I mean, it's why this normally, if you take away these honey sticks, this is called Twinnings. Is it Twinings or Twinnings?
I think it's, I don't know, I'm not a tea guy.
Actually, yeah, twins.
We're gonna go with Twinnings here. It's a Twinning, everybody vote. So they got this endorsement going on. This is what I mean by brand name. This is called By the Cup.
Okay.
If the honey wasn't theirs, we call Twinnings. And if this was a circular happy face sticker, I'm using that as an example, because that's what a lot of people do.
Right.
If this was a cutout of one circle happy face sticker, this would be a violation of terms of service, and it seems like a lot of those people got shut down. It also seems like somebody that maybe had got Twinnings and got 2 other tea brands, and they put them together in a bundle, but they had permission from, they didn't have permission from all of them, or they only had permission from one, whatever, those got shut down too.
So if they put like, let's say Twinnings and they put Lipton, and
Yeah.
Lipton didn't give permission to be associated with Twinnings.
It seems like those got shut
Then-
down, but I can see that happening.
Yeah,
Imagine if you're
of
Lipton, and
course.
you're like, hey,
Yeah, what?
Lipton has an
what do you
entire
think?
team that's trying to make sure that their catalog's done right, and who's competing them on keywords, and all of a sudden there's some rogue listing out there.
Yeah.
Go into the Visit By the Cup store, you'll probably get more examples, because these guys did it right. I mean, these guys are doing really well, and when you look up
Yeah.
the back end of this, they've got a warehouse. I've seen, what was the name of the company? I gave it to you. I can't remember the name of the, if you look up the company name, if you go into, do a little rabbit holding here, go into By the Cup, you'll find out what their true company name is, go on their website, and you'll see a picture of like this big warehouse. So when they're actually going to trade shows and they're pitching brands, they're saying, here's my website, here's my warehouse, this is what I do. And if you look at all these products that they have here, they're reselling wholesale items, and they're adding something really simple, like a spoon, or
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
So they
creamers.
So they are already wholesaling these products like outside of Amazon, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that they went in the front door and they went to Twinnings and they said, hey, listen, I wanna wholesale your product, and I'm gonna wholesale it and put a PL with it so that nobody else can compromise your brand and race to the bottom and sell it cheaper. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna sell it more expensive than anybody else.
Yeah, so the equivalent,
I mean, they have
in case this helps, the
everything.
equivalent, what I just said of the arbitrage seller that walks in the store and says, do you have a clearance section? No, and walks out, that's like one flavor of arbitrage.
But
The
they're,
flavor and wholesale of that is, you just contact them and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, can I resell your product on Amazon?
Right.
They said no, and you left. They just said, you know what, we're gonna do this a lot smarter. We're gonna go in here with a plan, let them know what we wanna do, and
Show them the website.
not have to compete with anyone on the box, and have to do this race to the bottom, nothing. And that's what they did, so.
go to terrificdeal.net. There it is. So they invested a little time, created a landing page. If you scroll down a little bit more, I think they go to partnerships, top right, top there. That's who they partnered with. So now when they're going to these brands and they're saying, hey, look, we've partnered with these companies, it gives them credibility, right? If you're gonna get into this, do this. This makes sense.
Yeah.
How much is it gonna cost you to set up a web page like this?
Yeah.
Peanuts, right?
I was just, the thought of coming from nothing and making one of these bigger brands really buy into it in that sense, you know, I still kind of trying to wrap my head around that, you know, it's a sense of like, if I was just buying a cup or I'm buying a glass and, you know.
Why not? Totally could.
They, especially, but it's the way you present it, right?
What about
Right,
Magic
right.
Spoon cereal?
So I mean, if you come up to them with a QR code that lands on your website, you know, it looks more polished. So this is what I do. You know, this is my landing page where, you know,
Right.
I'm gonna represent your brand, I'm gonna advertise on your brand. I really like your brand. This is, you know,
Selling myself a little bit more at that point. You know?
it's the relationship, right?
Yeah,
And you're going
yeah.
through the front door.
Yeah.
I'd like to place an order here, right here, a beginning order with you. How do I do that? You know?
All right, any other questions before we start going on? No, okay. So, I'm gonna bounce back and forth with some PL ideas. I'll talk out loud on them. I'm gonna bring out Jungle Scout just for a second. Since some of you guys are saying you wanted to look at some Jungle Scout stuff. Very minor stuff right now in Jungle Scout. And I'm gonna bounce, and I'm gonna show you several, because last time I got feedback, like I wish we could have spent more time rabbit holing on wholesale when I was doing that. I was rushing it because I thought you guys were bored watching this happen, so I rushed it. So rather than do that again, since we just did it, what I did is I did some rabbit holing on my own. It took me about 30 minutes, 40 minutes this morning, and I pulled up some storefronts that you could go to, and I found several brands on each of these storefronts that you could easily just Google their name, go to their website, and open up a wholesale account. And you're not retiring off any of these, but you'll be able to get some wholesale accounts that are profitable, okay? A few other ones that I found that I looked at and I was like, you know what, you'll know when we get to it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't wanna sell that, it's $8, right? Even though this person is getting them for pennies, but I would tell you like what I would do with that if you were interested. If you had nothing going on, a whole bunch of extra time, and you needed to build your catalog, I'll talk about how I would turn that into an opportunity if that was my main thing right now. Cool? All right. A little something I was looking into. This would not be an easy private label, but I think if you were into this space, and I'll show you where I'm going with this. Like, if you were into this space, I was actually pretty surprised as to like how big this space is and how there was opportunity in one of these areas. It was about as shocking to me one time as a friend of mine showed me water, and I looked at it and I was like, there's no freaking way to do it in water. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way this is gonna rank, and it wound up being an opportunity. So, what I started with was the ideas that I was gonna start doing some bicycling and stuff and teaching my kids how to ride a bike. And the time that I have to actually do it might be right before bed, and it's gonna be a little dark. Mama bear, mom obviously stressed out. We all need to have these flashing neon lights on us. So I started looking around, and first place I normally look is Kickstarter. I just happen to do that. So for me, Kickstarter is a spot that I jump into all the time. I look at it for potential private label ideas to see how I can beat somebody to the market. And I also like putting a couple dollars every month into backing other Kickstarters so that I can build a network of brands that I can reach out to later and say, hey, I backed you, blah, blah, blah. I have this Kickstarter now, maybe you'll back me. So just like some strategic partnering. But I saw this person with this, how can we do this again? So you get an idea of what we're talking about here. Yeah, so this person, it's a helmet, right? With cycle, I think it's a good shot of what it is right here, this helmet. And it has a light in the back. When you brake on your bike, it actually can light up like a braking sign. I didn't even know something like that existed. Come to find it does, which we're gonna see in a second. But this Kickstarter was really smart for a bunch of reasons, and I'll roll out Jungle Scout in a second. But I just looked into it and I was like, well, what's the best one they have on the market? And I I came to this search. So I put an e-bike helmet in because I was also looking for an e-bike. No, I'm sorry, I was looking for a bike, and then I was looking at maybe I can get an e-bike, and I went down the e-bike rabbit hole. And when I looked for bicycle helmets were, I mean, a dime a dozen. There's everything out there on bike. You can get $5 bicycle helmets to $500 bicycle helmets. But when I put in e-bike, an e-bike helmet, for me, shockingly, especially with the explosion of e-bikes everywhere, for e-bike helmet, there's only 767 results. So we got here, and as you can see for e-bike helmet, we can pass the ads real quick. For e-bike helmet, the first organic placement has 25 reviews. Which was still a shocker for me on how easily reachable these were. But the equivalent of what I was talking about before was bowls, ceramic soup bowls. Doing this process went from bikes to e-bike helmets, and then it got interesting here, e-bike helmet for kids. And I did a bunch of keyword research on this, and if you try to, I won't spend a lot of time doing this, but if you try to connect it to where they were smart e-bike kid helmets, it got really interesting. Like, I jumped over, I didn't do a deep research, but I jumped over on Alibaba, I looked on Alibaba, it was very easy to find. It's definitely gonna be an Alibaba play if you do a product like this. It was very easy to find suppliers of this. It looked like the ones for kids were selling in like the 160 to 2 something range, and that you can get these for 20-something bucks. So I thought it was a really good opportunity. Any questions on that so far? Really? Okay. Let me just grab one of these randomly. So for those of you, some of you have been messaging me letting me know that you kind of get a brain fart when you're doing this on your own, and you're like, even going from bowl to ceramic bowl, soup bowl like that, like it doesn't really click for you, or you're looking at a product and you're like, how do I differentiate this? This is very easy. A few of you even, in messages after these beginner hours seem to generate a lot of comments from you guys afterwards, is that when I mentioned, just look into the reviews, and the reviews will let you know. You told me variations of, you don't have time to go through all those reviews. So fact is, one of the easiest ways to find out different things that you could do about best place in the world to do product research and figure out how to improve a product is actually Amazon, and it is that review section. So it is very time consuming to do. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get this helmet, and I'll show you a quicker way to do this if you want. So you're gonna grab the ASIN right here. You're gonna jump over to Jungle Scout, and you're gonna go to their review analysis, which is in their basic toolbox. And we can do a few of these listings if you find this helpful, but what this is gonna give you a snapshot on is basically how optimized this listing is at a glance. It's the #1 bestseller in the category, so I guess you know it's gonna be pretty optimized, which you can see here, fully optimized. It's showing you that it's weak in their product description, and it's weak in their product features by too many keywords, but this is where I want you to look. I want you to scroll down to review analysis here, and this is using AI. I've done this across a lot of different products to kind of see how accurate it is, and it's very accurate. I usually skip this, common positive comments. I think this can be very helpful when you're thinking of like what keywords to go after for your listing. What I like to look at, and what I started this on, is common negative comments. So it says some customers did have negative feedback about the product. A few mentioned sizing issues, where they purchased a size based on the measurements, but found it too small or too big. There are complaints, so that's one, right? And I'll get into the rest. I did this across the top 20 helmets in this space, and every single one of them had the main complaint across all of them being the sizing of this, right? If you look at this Kickstarter one that we have, it's a smart helmet designed for all. Seems they may have come up with something when I read through this that is, I mean, think about it, how many things have you got as one size fits all and it's adjustable? How come these helmets have not done that? But it seems like if you were to get into this space, you were gonna go after the kids' helmets for the e-bikes, or a specific niche for the e-bikes, and you addressed the compatibility issue into sizing, you'd be in a much better place. It says there's also complaints about the colors scratching off easily. I really don't know, I can imagine this thing gets dinged around, you take your helmet off and you toss it. I don't know what can be done about that, but maybe something. And one customer expressed disappointment in finding out that despite being listed for multiple stores, the manufacturer's tag stated that it was solely intended for biking. So looks like many of these listings are keyword stuffing, saying, which is a mistake. This bike is for football, for basketball, for like all these different things. First of all, it would have been better for them to create standalone listings for each one of them. In the first place, they would have been better. And instead they keyword stuffed this and didn't clone it, and they're getting some negative reviews on it. So this is a great way to look at this and know, like, when you're thinking of getting a product manufactured, what are some of the things that you should not neglect? So in this case, if somebody is gonna get into e-bike helmets, they really need to pay attention, especially when they're first starting, the size compatibility issue with helmets. Make sense? Any questions? Anybody using this, by the way? This is like one of the simpler tools you use really quickly in Jungle Scout. Anybody? No. Is anybody going through, I feel like the answer is no, because most people don't go through the negative reviews or the reviews period of a listing, because it's extremely time consuming to do. So you probably, the extent of it is you just jump over to the listing, you go to reviews, you filter for negative, and you just glance at some of the negative, and you're like, oh, I see it, and you bail. This is a much better way to do it. Okay? Takes a few seconds. This is also something that you could create a quick Loom video on, or whatever you use, create a quick Loom video on, and now you have this mini training that you can pass off to a VA. You could go in here and grab this for the top 20 listings and just paste them, and then stick all that into ChatGPT and ask it to, you know, summarize it. So, easy way to do some more effective research. We're worried too much about how to gain and get positive reviews. Try to think about how to stop those negative reviews coming in. This particular one's a not so complicated one, but a lot of the times you're going to come in here and you're going to see something and you're going to be like, oh wow, a lot of these are saying they, you know, somebody has an outdoor speaker and they're like, it's not waterproof. And you're like, that would be easy to do. You know, like it's an outdoor speaker. People like listening to this by the pool. Getting something turned into a waterproof thing is very easy. Next thing you know, you now have a waterproof Bluetooth outdoor speaker, and you're selling it for 20 bucks more, but you've raised your cost to about 50, you know? All right, what do I have next? Oh, here we go. Here's one of the, here's one of the products. I actually reached out to this brand this week just because I was like, let me just see if somebody picks up. Let me just wing the conversation and see if they're willing to sell wholesale. Like, how aggressive were they, and like, are you an Amazon seller? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being noob, 10 being I needed to deploy everything I know in sales or like human psychology to try to close this account. Like, where did this thing fall? This was a 1. Like, they were so happy to hear from me. They called me back, and I couldn't talk because I was on the way to take the kids to jiu-jitsu. So like, they sounds like they want people to buy from them. They really did not care where I sold this thing from. And I don't have a price list yet, but it seemed like when I ran the numbers and I was like, well, if I just buy 1,000, like instead of saying, how much can I get 1 unit for? I was like, if I wanted to buy 1,000 of these, like what could I? So first of all, it's like, oh, I'm not trying to get 2 units. It sounded like they said $3,000, but they needed to think of shipping, which would put this at $3 a unit, right? Don't quote me on that, but I went through this store, the Anything Possible brand store. They got at least half a dozen different brands in there that they're selling that I just glanced at. The only one that was in there that I couldn't find the site for, and it's because their site is down, which is a great opener to a conversation, by the way. If you could just do a little digging and find the phone number to this company, give them a heads up that their site is down and you're trying to do business with them. Like, I can't think of a better opener, and you sounding helpful, unless you're trying to sell them web services, and I just think you're being a brick. But this Kid Caster's store looks like a great opportunity to open. They have a whole bunch of stuff to sell. If this thing is $3 to $5, I really like it. There's 300 plus bought in the last month. This might be your phone bill, your FPL, or depending where you live. This is like 2 days at Casa May's FPL. So anything possible store had a bunch. This was another one. This was another one of the products that I looked at, and I was actually, is this the one that I was like, yeah, My Little Pony, and they had another one that was like licensed, Paw Patrol, and a few others, and I was trying to get into the conversation of, we wanted to carry this, but, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't, getting in trouble by reselling, just playing like I had no idea how that worked, and getting them to like brag about how they got this licensing agreement. So over 100 bought in the last month. Yeah, I ran these through, in case you wanted to or you wanted to see it, we could run these through Jungle Scout. But again, we're not trying to private label this. This would be more of a just straight up wholesale opportunity. Here is Kids Casters. Different products that they have. Again, I think you could probably sell almost all this on Amazon.
What did the Anything Brands store have on it?
Go back.
Anything Possible Brands?
Yeah. This kind of seemed like a PL to me, but I digged and I digged for a little bit, and I really couldn't find anything. Let me see, was this the one that had a whole bunch of different ones? Oh yeah. A lot of these I just glanced at, and it seems like very focused on like the fish space, but this is
Like the telescopic.
yeah, instead of that, this is the genius thing on this listing right here. You don't think of that, and you barely make any profits on the 54. You bring that down, and now all of a sudden you got a profitable product. Oh, let me jump over here so
Easy
that I
to
don't-
transport too.
This is the one whose website was down. This listing gets me excited, to be honest with you. I don't like the 1095, but I've a bunch of. Let's talk about this both from the wholesale and the private label side. There's several different listings of this, of different sizes, first of all, and most of them are over the 1095, so they start getting into a better spot. I really don't want to sell a 1095 item, but look at this listing. It's an all-purpose cleaner, especially for, right, campers, backpackers, travelers. We were talking about this a little bit before with like zipper cleaners, like in that space, but superior for use in recreational vehicles, boats. I would create a separate listing for each one of those things, and it says a few drops of water give effective suds. From what I see about this product, it is like basic, like soap is what's in this. Soap and water is what's in this. Anybody can get this and sell it. I like how they went for camp suds, and they seem like, it seems like that's where their creativity sort of died. So they decided they want to go after campers, but there should have been a different listing with maybe a different color and showing maybe a backpack for the backpack one, a tent one for the tents. Same chemicals could be in all of them, but something that was speaking directly to, and could be a variation listing, to clean all of those things. You with me on that?
Do we need a special like that? This is not in special department.
No? No? something on the listing that says, I mean, no, this thing even does your dishes. I'm telling you, our natural ingredients will clean a heavy-duty mess on your camp dishes, clothing. It's an all-purpose cleaning solution, that's it. Like, back in the day, before Amazon would want to see like safety data sheets, I literally would have just, this sounds bad, I literally would have went to like Costco and got like a massive jug of some generic all-purpose cleaning thing, and then ordered a whole bunch of these bottles. I would have stuck the sticker on the top, and I would have sent it out to test just to see. I wouldn't do that anymore, because I mean, you send this to Amazon, and they're gonna want some paperwork on this. Maybe before it's even live on FBA. Light and refreshing scent. Every time I see that, I think of that tour in Boston. Light and refreshing scent. I bet you this thing smells like pine or something like that. Anyhow, okay. So this was a great one. There's several different sizes. This is the least exciting looking one. That's the one whose website's down, by the way. Before anyone gets excited, this is a fishing lure, not anything else.
I sell a lot of those.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I was really shocked. I thought this was so nuts when I dug into it. Again, I do not like the 1078. This is the, oh, by the way, this is another one. If you need a jump off spot, it's another seller called Departure Outdoors. Did you get the other one, by the way, that I was showing you? Anything Possible Brands. This is Caspian, in case you guys wanted to know, which is a very large seller. You know Caspian.
But all those things you're talking about, I mean, even that little kids thing, you're talking about private labeling and wholesaling something together, get a cheap lure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell a funny lure for a kid to put on a fishing lure or whatever. I don't know.
A
Absolutely.
colorful one.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something that is
You
gonna.
put them together. Amazing opportunity. The other one is this is a 10-pack. I know a lot of people who sell stuff like this or do. Most of they say most of their orders are 2 and 3 buys at a time. Like no one just buys one.
No.
Right? No one buys one of these. No one buys one pack of this. Just go ahead and create the 30 pack, like, and sell this at a price that makes a lot more sense on Amazon. This Gary Yamamoto brand is just full of opportunities like that. And this is Yamamoto Baits. Baits.com. I wonder what they paid for that.
Oof. What is that DR rank?
Baits.com. Easy contact information.
Yeah.
Bunch of different lures. This is an amazing brand here for, because a few of the brands there, Amazon was selling direct, which I'm not dealing with that. I'm especially not dealing with that on a $10 product. But putting this together as part of a wholesale PL hybrid opportunity, creating just some unique bundles of like multi-brand with permission, creating a starter kit of like, maybe someone doesn't want 10 of these and getting 2 of that one and 2 of this one, kind of like, I don't know fishing. I mean, Alex is probably laughing if he's listening to this. Well, he's on a cruise. But like the freshwater ones, freshwater starter kit for these lures, and you can quickly turn this into like a $50 to $100 kit that somebody can buy. But it was great. You said you sell a lot of these, right?
I
DR50
sell a
rank.
DR50, yeah.
So how I got it was, there was a store, it was a retail arbitrage, called Dirt Cheap. And they moved now, they're in the Panhandle, okay? And what they used to go ahead and do is they used to go ahead and put Target shopping carts, and you know that they're big, right? And they will shove all kinds of stuff inside the Target and then saran wrap it and say $5 for the car. So I went in there one time and they had all these lures, and it was $5 for the shopping cart, and I bought 20. You know how many lures you can pack on a Target shopping cart? That's what I have. And I've been selling that all the time.
Yeah.
And I sell one package at a time. I don't bundle.
Yeah, I was really surprised at how fast these things move.
Yes.
This is another store, by the way. And by the way, the purpose of this was you guys weren't here. I don't know if you were able to listen in the car, but the idea was we did some rabbit holing a week or two back that I was doing, and I felt like, well, a lot of you messaged me and were like, we need some more jump off products, or you wanted to see more of the rabbit holing. And I was trying to hurry because I thought you're gonna be very bored of the process, because it's not just turning the computer on and immediately finding a jump off. So I was like, let me just go ahead and vet and find some actual wholesalers that have a bunch of products that they're selling wholesale that you could just start with. So this is the third one, Midway USA. But notice a theme here on these seller names, anything possible. Departure Outdoor, they're like, well, Departure Outdoors is kind of specific to outdoors, but Midway USA, great deals for you, like all these different things.
Terrificdeal.net.
Terrificdeal.net, like those sort of names are usually wholesalers. So sometimes now if I opened up a listing and I saw that it had like 15 sellers, I think I could be pretty accurate based on the seller name. It's not 100% on which one of them is going to be wholesalers or which one's going to be arbitrage. But this person's storefront had the most products that I thought were good opportunities to be able to wholesale, by the way. And I recommend you reach out to some of them.
Which Midway USA?
Yeah, just, and look, the value here is not just contacting the brands that you find in Midway USA. The idea here is each of these brands is being sold by multiple other sellers. And by identifying who is a wholesaler, the other sellers on there are probably wholesalers as well, and they sell other products. And that's the beauty of rabbit holing. You're never gonna end. You could fill up pages upon pages of, Excel sheets full of, brands that you have an opportunity to sell. This one had like a lot of pretty cool stuff, I thought. Where was the frog togs?
That's fun.
Good stuff. Anyway, let's keep going. I think I'm almost at the end, and it was just perfect because it's Mike. Okay. What was this? Called somebody out. We did by the cup, and we did terrific deal. Okay, yeah, so that's it. We're right up at 2 o'clock, so that worked out perfectly. Last one, in case I forget, before everybody leaves. Co-create, if you haven't got the tickets. I think it's a heck of a deal. I spoke to them this week, and supposedly, let me see if they've done it already. But supposedly they're gonna update the tickets here on VIP and premiums. It says 2 nights included, but it's pretty ambiguous as to what hotel and all that other information. But they're gonna update it as the hotel where the event is happening. So you're gonna save a bunch on the Airbnbs too. And it does include the hotel in the ticket cost. Cannot emphasize enough grabbing a ticket now. When the tickets go up, I think they said they go to $1,500 or $1,499. It's still gonna be a deal, but why pay the extra $500 for nothing, okay? And I think that's it. Our presenters here, which is a great sign. I was beginning to get a little worried.
Sorry, my wife wasn't feeling too well, so I was dealing with that and all that.
That's good. I'm glad we were able to give you an excuse to. We're gonna take a break if you wanna get some food and some drink. I'm gonna get Michael set up with the mic, and we're gonna get into arbitrage, all right? Mike, you have a HDMI?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
Get this out of your way. No, you're good. Just mess with it. Yeah, if you could. I got a same email as last time?
Yeah, I can give it to you again.
Good to see you. Let's get you set up. How are you?
That's good, yes. Yeah. It's pretty wild. I didn't really understand much of it. Power, there's something to be forefront. I didn't know. Really? Yes.
Yeah, I think I need it again.
Yeah, consider it for sure.
What's the email start with?
Oh, I guess SHINSEI. What is it again? Let's see. Alright, just leave it here right now. Oh, yeah, that's what I was reading. It's like
What's up, kid? What's that?
I bought the other 3 samples. I have one more attempt on the account, so I'll send you both before submit it to Amazon. But most likely, I feel like I'm not gonna fail. They're gonna say no to me. I have a feeling.
I mean, I don't know, it's a toss-up, but I would have ready on deck your TikTok stuff, ready to go. If you don't get into the Amazon influencer program, it means you're not trying hard enough. Yep. I think everybody needs to just try a little bit harder to get in, and they'll be fine. You know.
It's my, if I can get this,
yeah.
I'm like halfway.
You should see some of this stuff. I mean, have you seen Creator Connections?
I don't have to say I believe it. I just need to get in the game first, and then we're trying really hard. Not that it's
Okay, now it's doing something.
What's your name?
Okay. New opportunities. Over 10,000 new opportunities.
Doesn't say accepted.
Además de hacer otras cosas, ¿se acuerda con la clase que tuvimos la calle?
Share screen.
Ahí me mandaron unas muestras.
Do I click share screen?
Yeah. Right? Now look here, these are all the messages that we reached out to people with. I'm not even done yet. Everybody is saying this. We're so jacked up. It's stupid.
That's that Chrome tab. Oh, okay. I can just connect it over the tab and then just have that tab. Slide tab.
What I'm saying is, I think you have it now, it's just, are you gonna share it or screen?
Yeah, I was gonna close this. Want me to do it? I can go into Google Drive and.
No, I'm saying go to share screen. The one that gives the least problems is entire screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. So then with that.
You wanna pull the slides up now?
Yeah, it's there.
This is like every day.
There we go. Can you go one slide back, one slide forward, and one slide back?
You guys can do it.
I think if I put it like full screen and that's crazy, should I leave it like that?
I managed $261 million. I managed a lot of money, and I can still
See
do
if it won't go crazy.
This is silly. If you can make
Oh, it didn't go crazy.
it's $96,000. If I stop right now, it's what I'm making.
Let me get my chargers.
You're not trying how I need to present to get into the program. I mean, see, I've been reviewing this. I'm reviewing. I mean, I review all kinds of crazy stuff. The air conditioning unit that they sent to us. $898, we got paid $35.
I tried to make it a little bit like.
Got the mic?
Yeah, just right. Just gonna plug this thing in. I wouldn't want to.
Oh, yeah.
Can I plug it in?
Yep, over here, in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
$35 there. Look at this. Just started creating connections. Connections. We got 3. The influencer.
You have a hot mic here, so you know. All right, we're gonna get started. Now you can leave it.
Yeah, put it there.
Put it right.
All right, we're gonna get started, guys.
I wanna throw it.
As I mentioned before, it's been a bit since we've done an arbitrage event. For a while, a friend of mine named Gabe was running them, and now we haven't had one for a while. I used to do these when we first started the group almost 10 years ago, every like 2 months, and then like quarterly, or every 3-4 months, we would go as a group. We called it Wizards in the Wild, and we would go as a group out to the stores. For anyone that was like hesitant on getting started to go scan stuff, it could be a little intimidating, to help everybody break the ice. I found them to be a blast, especially as the group got a lot larger and we started getting kicked out of the places. That was pretty fun, seeing a bunch of mall cops escorting out a bunch of business people, like 50 of us from a mall. But who knows, maybe we can lean on Michael a little bit and he could lead some of those in the future, maybe. But either way, he's been selling for 9 years. Yeah, 9 years now, online. Knows a lot about arbitrage. Recently presented on the wholesale side of Walmart, but an actual practitioner in the arbitrage space. So I feel like the reason I don't get up here and do these arbitrage stuff is I would just be talking off theory and things that I used to do. And I feel like it's a lot more raw and authentic from somebody that's actually in the trenches doing it. So thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you. I did these slides last night, so I think I did them pretty well. So yeah, so I did my best. So and I tried to make it short so I can talk a little bit more. I don't like to rely too much on slides, but so I called it Retail 101, Retail Arbitrage 101 Back to Basics, because it's like the basic way of selling on Amazon. I think it's like the most basic bare bones way. So let's get to it. So what is retail arbitrage? So thank you, ChatGPT. I was gonna come up with like a fancy way to do it, but there's technology, so I don't have to do that. You're basically buying low and you're selling high. So that's essentially business in the majority of how businesses work. You buy things cheaper, you sell it for more money. Some people will say retail arbitrage is like, oh, it's wrong or whatever. You're, what you call it? What's the word? Scalper or whatever. Every store does arbitrage. So if you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to anywhere, they bought it cheaper and they're selling it to you for a profit. Maybe they're not making much of a profit, but Walmart doesn't own everything at Walmart. So, so any store doesn't own everything in their store. They bought it from somebody to sell it to you for a profit. So everybody's doing it. So, or they're doing private label, like Stanley's has their own cups or whatever, So basically what you're doing is you're purchasing things in stores or online, but I'm not gonna do too much OA because that's like another rabbit trail. I don't wanna go too far off to the weeds. But you're just buying stuff in stores, selling it for more on Amazon, Walmart, eBay, anywhere. So now there's so many platforms, it doesn't have to just be Amazon, So I do mention Amazon, obviously, it's like the focus, but don't think, oh, it's just Amazon. You can do it in a lot of platforms. So that's that. And I'll hold the questions to the end unless you have something like really want to ask me, feel free. Because I think I'll answer most of your questions throughout the slides, but nothing up in. How do you source using the RA model? So basically, like I said, you're going to physical retail stores and you're scanning products to find profitable inventory, right? So the goal is, keyword, should have put it in bold, is profitable. It's inventory everywhere. You can go in this plaza, I bet there's something that you can resell. Is it profitable? We don't know. So that's the goal, is to find, you want to make money. It's fun, but it's not fun if you're not making any money. So, inventory can be found for resale on Amazon, Walmart, eBay. I should have meant it like, yeah, I shouldn't have said found, but inventory can be sold for resale on Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Poshmark, a lot of places. So don't just confine yourself to Amazon. Like there's some people that just do Poshmark, or they do like Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Depop, or whatever. Like I call them like the minor marketplaces. Like they're not like huge, but people make a full-time living sometimes on those marketplaces. So, and then I think the more bigger ones obviously is Amazon, and then you got Walmart and eBay is still up there. It's not super high, but you can still make money on eBay. Like don't sleep on eBay. You know, I think every market has its like each one is good for something, I guess. Like Amazon's good for everything, but then some items like there could be restricted on Amazon, so maybe want to go on Walmart. Maybe there's no listing. Like perfect example about reselling. I have a wholesaler that I buy from overseas, beauty products. I used to sell them on Amazon. All the listings got deleted of that brand. Like I just woke up one day and it was like 13 IP complaints from the same brand. They all got deleted, a restricted IP complaint. An IP complaint, if you don't know, is basically like Amazon giving you pow for selling something they deem you're not supposed to, even though you were for the longest time. And they just woke up one morning and said, hey, you can't sell anymore. So then I had that item in a box, so I was like, what do I do with it? I can't sell it on Amazon anymore. And it never occurred to me to check eBay until like a year later, because I just ignored it. I'm like, whatever. And then one day I said, let me check if this thing sells on eBay, and it did. And I'm like, let me just list just take some pictures and list it on eBay, and it sold. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have done this since a year ago. So I just listed everything, all the variations and everything, and I've been buying it now. I literally just sell it on eBay. Well, I sell it on Walmart too, but it mainly sells on eBay. So there's a place for everything. What are you gonna need to do, RA? You need an active account on the platform of your choice. So again, mainly talking about Amazon, but any platform. So I'm gonna do Walmart, I wanna do TikTok, I wanna do whatever. Cool. You need an active account on that platform. So you need a phone, because you need a scan. Now, OA, you can use a computer, you don't need a phone, but if you're gonna go out into the field, into the streets, you need a phone. You definitely need data and Wi-Fi. I recommend have a good phone provider. Like make sure your data's good, because if you're out there somewhere and your phone like has no connection, it sucks. So just make sure your data is pretty good, or connect to the Wi-Fi of the store. I do that too. You need a scanning app. There's a ton of them. Each one is different. There isn't like the best one. If it's Amazon specifically, the Amazon selling app is all you need. If you want to get fancy, you can get Scoutify, which is an inventory lab. There's Seller Amp, which is all the cool people on Instagram like to use Seller Amp. There's a ton of them. Like there's always a new one coming out all the time. So I used to use way back in the day. Used to use Profit Bandit. That was pretty good, but I think they're still around, but I don't use that anymore. I mainly just use the Seller. That's a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was actually good. That sucker was great.
That was my favorite.
Yeah. I like Scoutify because I have Inventory Lab, because I can make a buy list. So not to rabbit trail too much into Inventory Lab or whatever, but Inventory Lab is a shipping software. It helps you ship your products, and it also does accounting. So if you're like, I don't know my numbers, I don't know my profit, blah, 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 blah. Inventory Lab has a profit and loss, has like an accounting reporting section. And it's like a mini accountant. It's not really an accountant, but it helps you know your numbers, your store profitability, all of that. So it really helps you with your numbers. Super important, because some people think, I made all this sales, and then when you really look at the P&L, it's like your sales is like your profit is trash. So you want to know that, and then that comes with Scoutify 2. In Scoutify 2, you can make a buy list. Buy list is basically when you find stuff, you add it to your buy list, and when you get home, you can upload that buy list and you can ship your stuff faster. So let's say you come home from TJ Maxx and you have all these bags on the floor. You bought all this inventory. Now you got to take it all out. You got to check, well, how much was that? $3.99, or maybe it didn't have the sticker. You're like, okay, how much did I pay? Let me get the receipt. Okay, where's this thing? And you got to look for it. It's a pain. It's very time consuming. If you do a buy list, you just put it out and you print the labels and you're done. And you have to take off the stickers, which are not. Some stores don't have stickers, like if it's Publix, there's no stickers. Well, they have on the clearance, but some stores are like sticker crazy. So
That's Spotify and the Inventory Lab combined?
yes, Scoutify 2 comes with Inventory Lab. So if you have Inventory Lab, it's like a combo, like they come together. I don't think you can get Scoutify 2 without Inventory Lab. I don't think so, but I don't think at all. But if you don't want to get Inventory Lab, I don't want Inventory Lab, just get Celeram. It's like all the cool people, everybody uses Celeram. So if you wanna be cool, use Celeram, you know? So it's good. I just don't use it because I have Scoutify. I don't wanna pay for more software that I don't need. So no offense to them. And their numbers are not that great either. So like their profit and their profit numbers, I don't trust too much. But yeah. Pros and cons of RA. So I'm gonna go over the pros and I'll go over the cons. So there's lots of opportunity literally everywhere. Like I've bought, to give you an example, I bought stuff in Starbucks, I bought stuff in every store you can think of, grocery stores, Walmart, Target, anywhere. Random little stores, Goodwill, long time ago. You know, anywhere. Like, there's stuff everywhere, all over the place. So there's literally opportunity, like you throw a rock and there's inventory. You gotta find it. That's the work that nobody wants to do, but if you do it, you put in the hours, and you put in the time, there's stuff everywhere. You can make money today. So if you do PL, you do wholesale, you do online arbitrage, it takes a while. You can't just like, I'm just gonna walk out of here and open a brand. Like it's not gonna work. You know, it's gonna take you, as Carlos would tell you, it takes months, you gotta do the research, you gotta do the money. You know, he's more the expert on that. I don't know, I come here to learn about PL. I don't know anything about private label, but just from what I learned, but you're definitely not gonna make any money today doing private label. Like it's gonna take a while. Same with wholesale. You gotta call the supplier, you gotta place the order, you gotta wait for it, you gotta spend money, you gotta ship it, da 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 da. It takes a while. Same with online arbitrage. It's similar, but you gotta know how to use the software, you gotta check the products, you gotta have them shipped to you. It takes a while. You can literally go today to like a store, you go to Publix and find stuff. You can go anywhere. Seanos, anywhere you want. TJ Maxx, Walmart, whatever. I'll list a bunch of stores in a little bit, but you can go anywhere and find inventory, like today, and take it home today and ship it Monday, because UPS is closed by now. All the time. No, they're still open, but if you literally had like, if you knew what you're doing, you could literally still drop off a box at UPS today, get it shipped out. So the only deterrent is the time you have to put in. It takes time. It's not like, oh, it's fast. No, it takes a while, especially when you don't know what you're doing. It takes a little while. So, but if you put in the work, it's just like anything. It's just discipline. If you're gonna do anything good in life, it takes a while, it takes discipline, you gotta put in the reps. You can just go to the gym one day in 30 minutes and you lose 20 pounds. Like you gotta go, you gotta eat healthy, you gotta work out. The same with studying, if you're gonna learn a career, anything. Any business model, even if it's outside of e-commerce, whatever you're gonna do, relationships, they take time. You gotta put the time in. If you don't put the time in, it's not gonna work. So then, you know, sometimes I have students outside of here, like just people that message me, or and I also coach with Jim Cochran, and I'll have students and they complain all the time, like, how much time did you put in? Well, I went like a couple hours in a week and I didn't find anything. And a couple hours is not enough. Like it takes a while. Like get done just a couple hours, you know, like it's gonna take you a few weeks. You could find something quick, but you gotta put the time in, you gotta learn, you gotta go to the store and find nothing and then walk out and say, this doesn't work, I found nothing. It takes a while, you know. So it's possible to find it's possible to find inventory the cheapest this way, besides wholesale. Of course, wholesale is probably the cheapest way because it's wholesale. But you'd be surprised if you combine coupons and all of that, like you can get stuff pretty cheap if you know, especially you know how to shop. You know, like, oh, there's 50% off this, and then there's a 20% coupon and half the points, and da 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 da. You can bring stuff down pretty cheap. So sales are a really good way to do RA, like XYZ stores having their semi-annual sale or 50% off whatever, 70% off whatever. That's a good time to go to those type of stores. And it works anywhere regardless where you live. So, and it's also a good dopamine hit. So it's nice when you find something, you're like, oh my gosh, this water bottle is $2.99 on Publix and it's $14.99 on Amazon. I'm gonna make like $8. It's great. And there's 5 of them, you know. So it's like I just made $40 or something, you know. So it's exciting. You're like, wow, like I just paid a bill right here with some water bottles, you know, or whatever. You know, it's a bad example. You're not gonna sell water bottle, but you can find stuff like that. You're like, wow, like this is $7 and there's 10. You know, take it all. You know, and just made like $80. You didn't make it because you haven't sold it yet. But if you look at the rank, you know what you're doing. You're like, yeah, the moment this gets to Amazon, this is gone. You know, so that's nice. You know, but I'll get into the cons. So I don't want to go ahead of myself. Cons of RA. Very time consuming. So as I mentioned, the deterrent is time, but it's also very time consuming. So it goes hand in hand. So it's time consuming, but it takes a while. So you can find stuff today. It's not a lie. You could literally, I don't want to say you're gonna get lucky, but you You might get lucky. You might go to a store and you're like, oh my gosh, nobody picked this up. It's like $1.99 and it's $20.99 on Amazon. Like, why? Like I sometimes will question myself, like why is this $20.99 on Amazon and it's $2.99 in the store? Like it doesn't make any sense. And it'll sell. You know, so especially with Walmart, I always knew that, but on Walmart sometimes the numbers are so ridiculous that you're like, nah, like this is $4.99 in Ross and this is like $25 at Walmart. Why would you pay $25 for this? It's $4.99. Why? Why would you do that? You know, like, but people pay it, and then you're like, okay, they have money, they can't find it, whatever the reason is, they wanted to pay that, you know. So it is a thing. Like, don't get too shocked, but it kind of will shock you still sometimes. You have to drive around sometimes in terrible weather. Like I've gone out in the rain. You know, it's Miami, so it's beautiful outside, and then it's not. You know, so then it is what it is. So sometimes you gotta go in the rain. Sometimes it's really hot. You know, so weather, it depends on where you live. Like me, I'm talking Miami because I live here, but maybe someone else lives in somewhere really cold and it's snowing or whatever. It sucks, you know. So you gotta kind of weigh that. You know, like, do I want to go out in the cold or in the rain? No, okay, but if you're doing alright, you kind of have to, you know, or you'd have to wait until the weather's better, you know. So that's a little issue. Many brands give IP complaints, so understand that there's a lot of brands that they don't want you selling their stuff. So that's the bottom line, you know. So there's tools that can help you with that, like IP Alert. So that's one by Chris Grant. I use it. It's great. Some things on IP Alert are wrong, but for the most part, it's correct. So that's a really good way to tell. Would have been nice if I did like a little keep a chart here, but a couple other ways to know about IP complaints. If there's only one seller, like Tom's Wholesale, and they're just there the whole time, walk away. Oh, but it's really profitable. Put it back on the shelf. Walk away. Because Tom's Wholesale is either they're the exclusive seller, they own the brand, whatever the reason is. And you don't see we just see one seller, and you're like, why is this so profitable? And there's only one guy on that listing. Just leave it there. Don't do it. Sell it on eBay, sell it somewhere else. Just don't do it on Amazon, because that's like a little, I call it like a little bomb, like a little mine waiting to happen. Like you're gonna step on it and it's gonna explode. So, and Amazon will say, you can sell it, go for it, dale, sell it. And then you do it, and then you're gonna make it cool. So then.
So how many sellers do you think it's a safe for?
Good. So I give that example, then I also would kind of play with it a little bit. So what I like to do, if I scan it with the seller app and I see one seller, or it's just Amazon, then I'll go to Keepa. And then I want to see the history of, if you go to Keepa, I should have put an example here, but if you never use Keepa, has 3 rows. First row is the rank, bottom row is also, well, the first row is like the rank, the price, and a bunch of information. Middle row is the rank, bottom row is the seller count. It's like a blue line. If you see the blue line doing this, like going up and down a lot, where it's like it goes to 5, it goes to 3, it goes to 2, it goes to 7, it goes to 8, it keeps going up and down. To me, I'm okay with that. If I just see a long blue line, just one seller, I walk away. Or if there's like 20 sellers and it's like doing this, so, you know, people are going in and out of stock, like, oh, there's 20 people, now there's 18, now there's 19, now there's 15. These people are coming in and out of stock, they're selling. And it goes from 15 to 1, you walk away also. Because that means they cleaned house, they kicked everybody out. So go to any Clinique listing, I used to sell Clinique. Every single Clinique listing, stretch it out, click where it says all and see the history of the product. You're gonna see all these sellers, and it's gonna go to Amazon. Amazon kicked everybody off of Clinique and a bunch of brands. And every time they do that, you see the movement and it just drops. And don't think, oh, I'm the lucky one, I found it, no one else found it. No. You weren't the only one that found it. It's just, you're gonna get an IP. So don't think you're lucky, you got, no, it wasn't you, because there's millions of people that sell on Amazon. You're not the first one to find that product, so just walk away. There's plenty of other products you can sell.
What if you check some other listings of the same brand? Maybe this particular listing is just one seller, but other list,
You can repeat the question, Mike.
Yeah. So what if you see like one brand has one seller, and then you check, the one listing, sorry, and then the other listings of other sellers, me, as an experienced seller, I would try. Like, I would test my luck a little bit. It depends. Like, if I don't see Amazon on the listing, and I don't see the brand selling on the listing, like let's say there's 15 sellers, I would check. And if I don't see the brand anywhere there, and I don't see like Amazon selling it, I'll give it a try. I've done that. Like, they're not monitoring like every listing. I'll give you an example, I'll just give you a freebie. Don't sell this brand. Black Rifle Coffee. I used to sell that thing like crazy. Like, I found it on a leads list years ago. I was like, what is Black Rifle Coffee? Never heard of it. Maybe you heard of it, I never heard of it. So I was like, okay, it's like some American coffee with guns and stuff. Okay, very USA, you know? So I bought it. I bought it from the leads list, sold really fast. I was like, okay, so I was buying it from the website. So I'm like, okay, I'm buying it direct from them.
That's like BSR 18.
Yeah, it was like in the low thousands. It would sell like the moment we got there. So I was like, I spent thousands of dollars buying coffee, like just these boxes. My whole house would smell like coffee. It was amazing. And I would just ship coffee like crazy. And then one day they showed up and they cleaned house. And I think I got like one IP complaint, and it was like that. Like, they were on a few listings, but they weren't on all of them. So I just put Black Rifle Coffee in the search, and I would just check. You're not here, you're not here, you're not here. And then I would open up their site and then they had a subscription. Like, if you pay the subscription, you get 25% off, and then I would just cancel the subscription. So I would get the 25% off and then cancel it. So, yeah, or they would have a coupon, like, oh, 50% off plus the 25% off. I was like, I was killing it. It's like $7 selling for like 25, 27. The moment it would hit Amazon, it would do all over the sale. So I was, sometimes I spend like 800,000, it was like wholesale. I spent like $1,000 order, $800 order, just a couple times a week, just coffee, a lot of coffee. Like, it was good times. Until they shut it all down.
Can you explain later on how you deal with IP complaints, because they will eventually come, and
Yes,
how many you can
that's a good catch.
how many you can handle without breaking and things like that. Like,
Yes,
if you can
sir.
do after that, not now, but
Yeah, good question, very good question. Yeah.
that's why I came actually.
Oh, okay, cool. No, for sure. It can be hit and miss. So you might go to the store, I found a ton of stuff, and you go to another store, you find nothing. So it happens. Happens to me. Happens to everybody. Happens to all the gurus on Instagram and YouTube. No shots to them, but it happens. They won't film it, but it happens. So they always want to film the wins. Nobody likes to film the loss. Somebody wants to go and say, I found nothing today. Awesome, you know. Nobody wants to come back. So yeah, for real, like, you're not gonna do a TikTok or Instagram. I was in the store for 5 hours and I found nothing. Thanks for watching. You know, like,
Good for course sales.
yeah, it doesn't good for course sales. Nobody wants, you know, you suck. You know, but it happens. Like, it's reality. Like, you're gonna go. It was just a bad day. Maybe there was stuff there. You can't scan an entire store. Like, there's tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of SKUs. Like, you can't scan everything. You know, so.
My phone only lasts like an hour and a half. My phone battery only lasts like an hour and a half, and then I have to go to charge or get a bank.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can bring a battery charger, and then I do that sometimes. Like, if I'm out for a while, I upgrade my phone sometimes because I have the iPhone, so obviously the more upgrade, it's better battery. So I have the 12. So I used to have, like, I don't know if it was the 8 or something, and it would just like die. Like, I had to literally have like a charger with me because it would just die on me. But yeah, definitely if you're gonna be out for like all day, bring a battery charger, wear comfortable shoes, bring water, like, get comfortable. You know, like, don't go. It's not something you can do in 15 minutes. You gotta go for a while.
Did you ever, like, again, it's been a long time since I've done this, but what I used to do towards the end is I would, like, if I knew I was going into Toys R Us, the rest in peace, right? Like, if I was gonna go into Toys R Us, I would go into Amazon, I would search Toys R Us, and I would see, like, kind of build up a hit list. Like, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna hit these spots. This is where I know the winners are, and then go straight in there and hit those. That way, if I had bad signal or anything like that, I was just like, I don't know, I felt a little more, especially with like IKEA or something like that, you easily lose the whole day.
Yes, that's actually that's reverse searching. Yeah, I've done that too. Some people would do, is they take pictures of the store.
Yeah.
So you can go to Toys R Us or whatever, TJ Maxx, you just take pictures. Like, you don't have, just take your phone and just take like the whole shelf and just try to make sure you can see the prices on that. Just take some pictures. And then you can go home, put it on Google Drive or something, so you can pull it up, Dropbox, whatever. And then you open up the page, and then you open up Amazon and you just start looking it up one by one. So it's actually more comfortable because you're in your house, comfortable.
But if
You can do more damage that way.
Stuff will be gone.
That is the other problem. So you gotta do it quick. So yeah.
Many times you wanna go back and it's gone.
Yeah,
At a certain point, you know when the stores go out in stock.
Yes.
Like, bring out the new stock and everything, so you know if you hit it the night before and you took pictures, and you evaluated it at night, you go back in the morning, if you know you're gonna hit it first thing in the morning, like you're gonna.
Yeah, you gotta plan that thing.
So-
Yeah, you can't do it and then go like 3 weeks later. Like,
So
gotta-
what I do, okay, for research, okay, is I go ahead and I watch TV. the
Oh, yeah.
kids shows, right? So Christmas is coming up. Right now, we have to establish what is going to be the hottest toy
Yeah.
in the market, right? So you just watch the kids shows, okay? And then let's say that I'll give you an example, the Hatchimals,
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple years
my
ago,
God.
okay? Those Hatchimals, okay? So now this is like my brilliant moment, okay? Because I found out about the Hatchimals, right? So I'm in Walmart, okay? Now Walmart opens up their layaway in August 1st. Walmart will open up their layaway. So what I did was I mapped out all the Walmarts from Key West all the way up to Jacksonville,
Well, that's
okay?
hardcore.
And, yeah, hardcore.
Yeah.
And I went to every single Walmart and I purchased all of the Hatchimals that I could go ahead and do, but I didn't have that much money to put out, right? So I put it in the layaway. And the
Oh, okay.
layaway will charge you only 5%, okay? And, that 5% fee if you cancel it. And if you don't cancel it, they charge you 10% of what you're putting. So
Yeah.
I put it all over the state of Florida.
And then you have to drive there, or they ship it to you or something?
No, so, no, because I will just go ahead and have people come over and pick it up for me or ship it for me,
Oh, nice.
So what I did was I put all of those there, and then once they were selling, then I will go ahead and go to the layaway and say, I like to go ahead and take
Oh, so
4
you
out,
listed at FBM?
5 out, 7 out,
Oh,
okay?
So you
And
did
I-
FBM though, right? You didn't do FBA?
No,
Oh, that's
no,
smart.
so
Okay.
then I sold just in eBay the first week that I put them there. I sold over $20,000
Good Lord.
worth of Hatchimals.
How
But-
did you know that they will, well,
Research.
you did the research, you knew
I
that
did the
it's gonna be
research,
a
I
hot
watched the
toy?
kids,
You went
I
to
watched
layaway
the
with your
kids.
insurance.
Yeah, and, no, and
Okay.
and
That's
what
smart, I
happened
never done
was, if they didn't sell, all
Yeah,
I
you just
lost was the
cancel.
$5 fee for doing the layaway. So my
Oh,
loss
super
was
smart.
nothing, yeah,
I
yeah.
never done that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you for sharing.
What
Yeah.
exactly is layaway?
Layaway
yeah,
is
well,
when you go ahead and you go to the store, there's not that many stores that have layaway. TJ Maxx used to have it and Marshalls used to have it. But you go ahead and pick up the merchandise, okay, and then you give it to the front and they'll go ahead and store it for you in the back of the store. So when you
like
sell
you're holding
something,
it.
they
Okay.
will hold it for you until you pay it up
Okay.
or
okay.
pay it off,
It's like a
right?
deposit, like you're
It's like a
saying, I want
deposit.
this, here's
So-
like $10 and.
So I used to do that with Marshalls and TJ Maxx. They eliminated it, but I used to go ahead and get Michael Simon sweaters, which are these amazing sweaters, and I used to take them to the dressing room, take pictures of them in the dressing room,
Smart.
and then come back home, list them, but they were in
Put them on
layaway,
layaway.
no out money
That's smart.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, yeah, that, I
Yeah.
never done that.
Yeah.
No, that's barely scratching the surface of stuff that Patty knows, by the way. So Patty founds the largest eBay community in the world, eBay, nothing but eBay.
Yeah.
And she's been a veteran e-com seller for a long time. She started an online seller cruise a few years back, so
Oh, yeah.
Have you presented before?
I
she
have.
dodges.
I-
Too busy.
That's all I gotta
No,
know.
we're here to present.
I will.
Yeah, I would love to learn. I'm not like an eBay big, I sell on eBay, but not like that, So
Mhm.
that's awesome. Yeah, but that's a good example of so many ways you can do RA. It's like, there's always like those major, like you strike and you make, like you can make a ton of money quick. Like, Q4 to piggyback off that, like Q4 is crazy. Like some people they focus
Yeah.
on Q4 and they just do FBM, which is Fulfill by Merchant, and they make like a part-time salary in like a couple months, So full-time, part-time salary, just doing that. So I don't really like to FBM that much, but I'll do it if it's good, I'll do it, But those type of scores, like usually people talk about them after the fact. So it's like if you found it, like nobody's talking about it, or you know somebody that's doing it. But in the most part, it's like, oh, 2 years ago this happened. And you're like, man, I missed that.
Yeah.
It's like the Hatchimals. Like if I knew about that, I would have done it too.
Oh, yeah.
FBM is working good now compared to what it used to be before because FBA has become so expensive right now.
Yes.
And FBM it can be even cheaper, and if you ship through Amazon, you're also protected. The biggest problem with FBM was, you may get an A to Z claim or.
Oh, you can
if-
still get A to Z.
You can still get it, but if you
I
ship
get
on
those
time and purchase the postage from Amazon,
Still,
you're
no,
protected.
still you can get an A to Z claim.
Well, you can still get it, but they most likely, most of the time.
Sometimes they do. I mean, I say because it's happened to me, because I
Oh, no.
purchased the shipping on Amazon, I got the A to Z claim, they got there on time,
But
and the
did you,
customer said,
but
"Oh,
did
I
you,
didn't
did you
get
ship,
it."
did you ship it on time?
I did.
Okay.
And I gave them the tracking, I cleared one, but one other one, Amazon was like, no, you know, they
I've
did the claim.
had
I'm
like 4 or 5 and they were not, you know, they Amazon covered. At least I've had
Oh, no,
so
that's
far
good.
4 and 5. It doesn't work all the time, but in a
Yeah,
way.
but most
it's-
of the time it
yeah.
works, yeah. But you know, it's Amazon, they do, they wake up one morning, or the agent that got your claim, you know, they're feeling frisky, they give you the claim, if not, you know, whatever. But it's true though, yeah, if you buy it off the shipping, he's right.
Yeah, you
For the
just
most
have to
part.
ship it on time, whatever the,
Yeah.
if you ship the day out, oh, well, I'm sorry. It's not only ship on time, it has to show, the first scan has to show, so let's say if you have
Yeah.
a 2-day shipping, you have to make sure if you ship, let's say, postal service, you have the scan thing, you make them scan, so it shows on
kiosk.
Amazon that it was accepted by the postal service within the shipping time frame. If it was accepted, even if it's delivered late, you're okay.
Yeah, and I like to go to the kiosk sometimes for Walmart, and I'll have like a little machine there, and I'll tell it to scan, because I wanna make there's like 50 people in line, I'm like, I'm not making that line. So I just scan it and then I throw it in there, because Walmart's like a pain in the
Let me
butt.
adjust this on you so it's
yeah,
closer,
sure.
get the voices, I need to go from.
Oh, my bad.
Is it, or is it?
Or is it like this?
Just so that we get the mic closer to you.
So I got a question for that you just said.
You know what, take it off the lanyard and let's just clip it to your shirt.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So I got a question.
Clip it to your collar.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So I got a question for you on that one, with the scanning in the machine at the post
Oh, yeah,
office,
yeah.
right? So what, I don't know about Amazon, I haven't heard anything from them about that, but with eBay, if you scan it at the machine, okay, they're saying that unless you take it to the counter and have a person scan
Oh, yeah,
that
it doesn't
package,
count.
it would not count if something happens to that package, because they cannot guarantee that you put that package in the
In the bin. Oh.
and you walked away, because, you know, eBay is like so.
Yeah, eBay's pretty, I honestly don't do it for eBay, I just
Yeah.
drop it off, and I've never had an issue, but.
I
Walmart,
never
yes,
had, but
really.
you know, knowing this stuff, you know,
Yeah.
it's like scary, because then they will deny your claim.
Yeah,
You know,
That's
so.
why, yeah, I try to buy all my
It's not
shipping.
eBay problem, this is actually the carrier's problem. Every time we go to FedEx is the one giving us the most and hardest time ever. Because they want us to use their fancy machine to scan it, and they won't, and then they just don't want to do it on the counter, because they're free, the labor's free, they don't want
Yeah.
us to. Chris is always like, get depressed beginning. So the on the receipt, if you say that, you see this, what does that say on the receipt?
Yeah, there's, on the receipt, it says, one says like, it'll say like, accepted, and then
Yeah.
another just says scan.
And
Scan.
So you want the
So-
accepted one by like
Accepted one, yeah.
a staff, yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
the carrier problem, it's not the platform.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
carrier problem.
Yeah, but then they will deny your claim, they will give the claim to the buyer,
Yeah.
because they said, we don't know if you walked away with the package and put
Yeah.
it back in your car, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, hello, I've been
Yeah.
selling for 26 years, hello, you know, and this package is, you know, $12, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I walked away with the package, please.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I
so-
have on eBay too that I never got, and the tracking says delivered, I paste the tracking, I'm like, it's delivered, I'm like, go ahead and open the case.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So, another issue with RA, it's not scalable, even with, well, it's scalable to an extent, but when I mean scalable, like massive, I'm not meaning like, you can scale it, but like I mentioned, you will hit a plateau, and I put, not even with shoppers, ask me how I know, because I do have a shopper. So, and I've met sellers that they have a lot of shoppers, but it's hard. So I'll get a little bit into that a little later, but, and it can take a lot of space from your home. So if you don't have a lot of space, you're like, I just live in a 1-bedroom studio, whatever, it's tricky, you know, you're gonna have to get that stuff out real quick. So, because you're gonna be walking over bags, like you're gonna, you know, you don't wanna put like bags inside your kitchen
My
or something.
garage, I can send you a picture.
Yeah, like, I don't even have a garage, like I live in a townhouse, so we have a townhouse backyard, so I turned it into like a mini warehouse, like I put a carport, we upgraded we put more fencing so people don't look inside. We made a shed, we did the tile, Like I paid a couple $1,000s. I had a handyman, and I told him like what my vision was, and he was like, yeah, we can do a carport, because I didn't want a roof because of to get a permit and all that. And he said, no, just get a carport. It's not attached to the wall. And I was like, hey, Padre, let's go. You know, it's Miami. We'll figure it out. You know, so then let's do the carport. I don't want any issues with the permit. You know, get the hand down to the HOA and all that. So we made it happen. So it's nice. I think it's nice. So I got racks. I got bins. I made it happen. But it's outside. So, you know, I have a little office desk, and it's sometimes like under the desk it's a little messy, but overall it's all outside.
And an air condition.
Huh?
And an air condition.
Yeah. And inside it's air conditioned. Outside is swelter, it's Miami heat, so, yeah. But you do what you gotta do. You know, if you don't have a garage, figure it
Because
out.
traffic to work is not bad.
Huh?
Traffic to
The
work.
traffic to work is not bad, yeah. And you can go during the week, there's less people, you know, lines are shorter. Yeah, that's a good thing to mention, like, don't do well, if you have to, not saying don't, but try not to do it like on a Saturday in the afternoon or in the evening when everyone's like in Dolphin Mall or TJ Maxx and there's like 50 people in line. That's not fun. You know, try to go if you can during the week, less traffic, you know. If you can, I know you have a job, I can't do that, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but just know that you're gonna be in line for a while.
So also TJ Maxx on a Saturday afternoon is like.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's a
God.
bloodbath.
Oh.
Unless it's a holiday, sometimes, you know, it's worth the.
Yeah.
Sundays
If
and
it's like
holidays,
Black
so they
Friday or
have better
something,
sales
yeah.
usually on holidays, so.
Yes, yeah, that's worth making the line, yeah. So everybody's gonna ask me, so, cause I would, when I first started, I would ask and everybody was like quiet about it, so I shared some stuff. So recommended store, where do I go, I don't know where to go, Plenty of stores. So I know we don't have an Ollie's in Miami, but I mentioned it. Some people do a killing in Ollie's. I've never been in one. I know there's one like a couple of hours up from Miami. I've never
Ollie's
been.
is very good.
Yeah, Ollie's is very good. Just
Very
know that
good.
everybody on Amazon is in Ollie's. So if you find something good, a lot of people found it too.
We're gonna go in the morning though.
Huh?
He has 95 jobs. We went there last year during the Q4. It's the store
Yeah.
fully wiped out. We got like a end up walked out store with a $5 my daughter's gift. That's it.
Oh wow, yeah. So Ollie's, some people go to Ollie's and they buy pallets, like they know the manager. That's I should have mentioned that too over here in the the pros. Yeah.
In another world, we used to, I can't believe I used to do this, but my business partner and I would get the biggest U-Haul we could.
Oh yeah. That's
Printer,
good.
fold-up table. We mapped out all of Florida, and we just drove.
Isn't that so much fun? As a matter
You
of
remember,
fact,
I think we knew each other back then, even like back in the day.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
I would hit up those things, we would pull up in the parking lot, one person would run in case it was a bad signal, the other phone was out here. We had the UPS store drop-offs packed up, we'd pop in the parking lot.
In the
And I'm
parking
at
lot.
the
Oh, you were doing it in the
Oh, yeah.
man.
printing out the labels, printing out everything right there in the parking lots, drop off, go.
Go.
We'd map them out, we'd hit like, I don't know, it felt like 100 Radio Shacks, like 60 toys, all the way back.
Yeah.
But we would do, off those runs, we would do something like, back then, $600,000-$700,000.
Sales?
Yeah. We would do $600,000-$700,000 in sales.
Yes.
700.
Yeah. It was a totally different time. There was a lot less competition.
Oh, no.
Prices were a lot higher, but no, it was, it all sold.
So now-
Like-
10 years ago, you can go in the mall and buy thousands of dollars, no problem. Now it's much more restricted. I used to do it 10
Yeah,
years
no,
ago, then I stopped.
we did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
So
Eventually
much-
I
found,
used to rent the U-Haul, go to Orlando, and everything on the way to Orlando, I usually.
we got to a point that when we would hit the Radio Shacks, we would go to like even different states and come back, and we would do something pushing $1 million. And you know what Radio Shacks would do? They'd say for every, I'm gonna let it go, right? But for every, I think it was, correct me on this if you know, Patty, it was for every $60 you purchased,
You had a $10.
they gave you like $10, $20 free.
Yeah, free.
Oh, wow.
Money.
Money.
So you'd go in there and I'd say, we're breaking this up into 600 purchases, and we would leave with money.
I
Yeah.
used to
Yeah,
come
it's
with
crazy.
my family, my neighbor, because they had restriction, you cannot buy more than 10 for whatever, so you
Oh,
come
yeah,
with
yeah,
5
yeah. We've
people,
done that
you know, in a line. I used to pay an Uber driver to come and buy for me, you know, it was
eventually
crazy.
changed it for
us and said that we could just place an order. They'd send it all to the Radio Shack right here.
So you could go in and just pick it up, yeah.
Yeah, they'd send
You
it all
make
there.
friends
Yeah.
with the
But
people.
at first they didn't do that. We would U-Haul it and
just make a big circuit through the state.
I got
haven't
one,
done
so
that.
I was
not
single at the
to,
time,
not
I
to
did
get
that.
away from
Yeah,
what
that's
Carlos
okay.
said, but
But
you know,
you
he
can.
grabbed the U-Haul and went. So right now, take note of this date. In the first Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of August, there is the biggest yard sale in the world. It's on Highway 127. It starts in Alabama. No, it starts in Georgia. It goes to Alabama all the way up to, well, I don't even know because
How do
I
they
don't
move
know
a
Georgia.
garage sale?
Yeah.
You go ahead and do the largest garage, 127, it's called 127 largest garage sale in the world, okay? It takes about, you know, it takes 4 days to go ahead and drive up, but, you know, if you're into that kind of thing,
Yeah, you'll
and I
make some
am.
good money.
And it was brutal, that U-Haul truck gets hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
there's a lady, if you wanna also follow, her name is Nikki Kirk, and she's great too, recommend her. You don't have to buy anything from her, but you can check out her stuff, and she will go on a trailer, just drive all over the United States and just buy some. So some people do that, they get, not saying you guys have to do that, but just, you can get creative with Ari, like what Carlos was saying.
Like what
You
Carlos
remember,
said.
you remember back then, a few
Yeah,
others,
you
it was
do
Chris
stuff.
Green and a few
How
others,
do you spell Nikki Kirk?
they wound up
Oh,
getting those fancy sprinter-like vans
N-I-K-K-I.
and
Yeah.
turning them into RAV
K-I-R-K.
vehicles where you open the door and the printer
She's
would come,
great.
it was like nuts.
She doesn't know me or anything, I follow her stuff, so she's awesome.
I could never go ahead and get that printer to work for me.
Well,
I'm just like-
No, sometimes I bring one to work, we walk into
You can watch
UPS.
her
Print
videos,
this.
but I usually when I watch her video just to see it because at the end she won't give you too much detail. She just basically you watch 10 minutes. The only value was only 1 minute or two. She's just selling stuff. herself.
Yeah, because she'll say, like, if she tells you what she's selling, like, everybody, because she's a huge YouTuber, and you watch, she drops, like, any information, whoosh, everybody will grab it. So,
Yeah.
so you gotta be careful, like, what you share, especially online. So,
Mhm.
I mean, there's a small group here, but you put on YouTube and 10,000 people follow you, the 10,000 people watching are 3 sellers, so it's
But
like,
even then, it's kinda like doing what other people wouldn't do, because even then, it's kinda like, you're gonna flood.
yeah.
You're gonna do a statewide.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't do that, like, I'm like, yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving
One-
Miami.
One in outlets, I found a couple that were coming from California. So they were like doing exactly the same thing, coming from California with a trailer here in Florida.
I'd be hospitalized if I
Well,
said.
but that was a long time ago, it was
Entire
easier and they were
state.
young, they were like
Back,
27 years
well,
old.
everything, they died.
So, almost done, so let me see, yeah, so I have one more. So, these are some stores, again, the Ollie's, I've heard of Grocery Outlet from Nikki Kirk and other people, I've never been there, heard it's good, I don't know about it. So, they don't have to be a liquidation store, but those are like, sort of like liquidation stores, like they're just like discounted stuff, so you have to check the expirations, you gotta make sure that the quality of the stuff is good, because you also look at expirations whenever you buy groceries, even makeup stuff, like make sure it's not like it's been there for 5 years, like, you know, don't think, oh, it's really cheap, it's probably for a reason it's really cheap. So just ask, you know, and don't be shy. Talk to managers, ask questions, like Carlos was saying, like, I've spoken to managers in many stores, well, several stores, I'm not like big manager person, but some people do that, and you get connections, they ship you stuff, you go, hey, you need this, so next week we have a shipment, you can come in on Tuesday at 10 a.m., we hook you up. Like, you start talking to people and you can start opening doors that way, so.
They let you even in the back sometimes.
Yeah, they'll let you in the back sometimes, or they'll let you know, hey, the shipment's coming Tuesday at 10, like, just be here at 9:30, we open the door, you can get first dibs, you know, like.
They'll let you pull your truck up out back
Yeah.
instead of having to haul everything out and.
Yeah.
They have
They give you
they have a
boxes.
quarter to meet.
Yeah, they gotta sell,
So, and
you know, so.
once they see you, if you go 2-3 times, they remember you and they see that you're basically getting their revenue up, and then
Yeah.
they even approach you without you even approaching.
Yeah, I've had managers like just text me like, hey Mike, we have this stuff, what do you think? Or wholesalers will do it too, like it's essentially like doing a wholesaler.
I've never bought from like either TJ Maxx or Ross or Bloomingdale's. Their receipts hold up with Amazon?
Yes and no,
That
so.
was my question, yeah.
Yeah, so yes and no. So with TJ Maxx and those stores, yeah, I was gonna go into those, like you gotta be careful because of the receipts. Sometimes the receipts are no good, sometimes Amazon will take it, sometimes they won't.
It depends on who you get in Amazon, right?
It depends
Because
on
you
who
can go
you
ahead and
get.
resubmit.
Yeah, you
Because I've
can just
had
resubmit like 10
the
times,
receipts
like,
deny, and then
Like I
I'll
have-
wait and I'll resubmit.
yeah, like I have a Nike IP complaint still right now, and I bought it from the Nike outlet like give it to them. It says Nike and everything, and they still reject it. So I'm like,
How much you make off how much you make off the Nike? I never sold Nikes.
you can make good money.
What are
off
people
it.
making off the Nikes? Because I hear there's like so much conversation about selling
The-
Nikes online, but what are you?
It's gotten hard because everybody and their mom sells on Nike now. Everybody. So like people are doing like Instagram reels inside. Like
I feel like half the time I hear Nike shut it down and no one can resell their products, and the other half of the time everyone's talking about everyone's selling Nike, and I'm wondering, I mean, how much money are you making per shoe for this to be that big of a conversation?
It's not.
And is Amazon the best spot to even sell them?
I
I don't
think
think-
so.
I don't
but
think
don't
so.
know. But
I
haven't
think
tried
eBay is
I
a
haven't
much
tried
better.
Well,
Reselling?
Yeah.
depends if it's something more unique, probably eBay.
Well,
If
like
it's something
StockX.
more generic,
Or it's like,
I would
yeah,
say
that you gotta
Amazon.
know your shoes. You know? Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
you
a
gotta
shoe
know
guy.
your shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
But
just scan it. I don't know.
You mentioned you got an IP complaint from Nike.
No, not from Nike.
Oh.
Like it was a customer complaint.
Or you gotta know.
Oh, okay.
Or I get them
So-
from Adidas. They say, "Oh, it's a fake shoe," and I'm like, "It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
fake.
that's-
It's
got
I put it in the box. I polybag it. I prep it white. You know, but people still complain."
Yeah.
But yeah, but to answer your question with the TJ Maxx, I mean, it's a little bit of a risk. I do it because I know what brands to sell and not sell. So I don't just grab everything off TJ Maxx. So for example, if there's a Nike stuff or well, I don't know.
Crocs.
I don't know Timberland.
Crocs is good.
Or Crocs. I sold
Crocs
a
is
lot
good
of
brand.
Crocs. Crocs, they don't give IP complaints. You can go
Yeah.
crazy with Crocs.
Mhm.
So you just gotta know. If you don't know what you're doing, be careful with those stores. Because if people they go in there, they get happy, they buy all this stuff, and I got 10 IP complaints. You don't know what you're doing. You know, so it's like. Careful.
So what you go ahead and do, for example, I went to Disney, okay, and
Oh, yeah.
they have these lounge fly purses.
that's the lounge fly.
The lounge fly purses.
bags
And,
and all that, yeah.
their backpack.
Mhm.
And they have the characters there, and I was like, oh my God, I have to go ahead and have this. And then I go to TJ Maxx and Marshalls and Ross, and they have them there. So I went and I grabbed every single
Yeah.
one of them, okay,
Mhm.
and then I put them on eBay, and I
See,
gone. I mean,
So you bought up all the supply.
I bought all the supply. They're asking me, what are you going to do with all these stuff? I said, I have many nieces and nephews and they get into this stuff. I mean, I never,
But
like, because,
I just tell
don't
them
you
it's
get
not for
that
me.
stuff?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's for somebody else, and then they leave me alone.
You
Because
know.
I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie to them. I don't like to make up stories. I just
No,
say,
no,
it's not,
no,
I'm buying it for somebody
I
else.
actually used to lie. Mine was really bad. Mine was like, I made up this organization that we do that takes care of like disadvantaged children in Central America. I went like really deep. I felt guilty afterwards, but I totally, but I was like, if I'm gonna memorize a lie, I might as well like the story. Why are you even asking me? You're the cashier. Like, why are you putting me on the
Yeah,
spot?
like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like, I have handicapped children from like Central America that are in
Yeah.
Vegas. Like, I went deep. And they were like, oh my God. I get to, next time they saw me, they put me in the front of the line, new register, and I was just
Like, oh, those poor
at some
children,
point I
those
felt
poor
guilty, but
children.
why are you even asking me this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've noticed about people complaining about fake stuff, and I usually sell mostly shoes. It's usually, let's say, if it's a clunky shoe or something like that, or if it looks, I don't know, oh, it doesn't look good. So there's certain, now you get a feel that, okay, this shoe, it's not comfortable, probably people will start complaining. So
Yeah.
I kind of keep some types of shoes, not buying them exactly for that,
Yeah.
even though I can prove it that it's legit, but you never know.
Yeah, but it's not worth the hassle.
Yeah, and then
But-
if you go with somebody else, okay, like when I was, I've been selling for 26 years, okay, so I will bring my kids and they will go ahead and say, Mommy, is this good for eBay? And I'm like, no, don't do that. So what I said to them, I would say to them, listen, it's grandma. eBay is grandma. So when you ask me
Oh, that's
something,
smart. Yeah,
you
it's
go,
for grandma.
hey, is this good for grandma? And they will pick like men's shoes. Is this good for grandma? It was bad.
Another trick I've learned, I know Marshalls, they don't, let's say the receipt is generic. So a Marshall's receipt is generic, so it's not gonna tell you bought a pair of Nike. There is no identification
It
of
just says
any way.
clothing
So
or
if you
shoe
get a
or-
complaint that this shoe is fake, you cannot prove that that's what you bought.
Yeah, you have to
So
take
a
a
lot
picture.
of people, they take a picture because the ID on the receipt matches the
Yeah,
ID
I
of
don't
the.
do that, but you
Oh,
can
that's
do
a good
that.
idea, I know.
Yeah, you
Well,
can-
I've heard it, I've never done it. I
I
don't.
used to do it. I just stopped doing it because I never would get IP complaints. But yeah, you can put the thing, the tag from Marshalls that says like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You put the receipt next to it,
Uh-huh.
and then you can either highlight it or point to it like with your finger like this, and then take the picture. But
But
I don't want to do that.
you gotta do it before you send it
You have
out.
to do it before you send it. Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. You know, like.
And you also
It's more work.
and
It's
you-
up to you. It's
and-
how much you want to protect yourself.
And you also said something about coupons and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Stacking and everything.
Yes, you can
In the
stack.
mall, in the malls, when you go to the mall, like for example, right now in the Dolphin Mall or the Sawgrass Mall,
Yeah.
there is like an information booth. Go
Oh,
in
yeah, yeah.
there and ask them to give you the book.
Mhm.
Okay, so they'll give you a coupon book in
I
there,
haven't done that
and then
before.
in that there is
Oh,
like
yeah, that's
Saks
big.
Fifth Ave has a 10% off, or you know, like
Yeah.
Nordstrom Rack has a 20% off.
I'm gonna do
So
that. I haven't done
you
that before.
can every time you go see,
That's
hey,
major thing.
hi, I'm
You learn.
here again. Give me another coupon book because I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
Get
get a AAA in Sawgrass and many other malls. You gotta pay $10. If you have AAA, they give it for free. The coupon books. I think in Dolphin they just give it away without
Oh,
anything.
nice.
But
Sweet.
some malls you have to pay. But if you have a AAA, 90% of the time they give it away for free.
Speaking of like the coupons and stuff like that,
AAAs.
we in the group, I think just Camilo happens to be here by chance, but I think it was when Camilo first started attending, we had a speaker come in. We actually had someone that came in that wanted to learn how to do arbitrage. And she said, the reason I want to know how to do arbitrage is because what I do is something called extreme couponing.
I've heard
And we had heard of it.
okay.
We had heard of it, but we didn't. I don't know if you remember, Camilo. And we're like, what do you mean? And she shows the pictures of her house. And the reason she wanted to get into arbitrage is her husband and her are having problems because the entire house is full of product, brand new product. And like 900 toothpaste. Mind you, she got paid for them, basically to take them out of the store.
Like the free stuff, like you
She knows how to stack these coupons and where to go into the store and get like $600 worth of goods. And they owe her money on the way out. And you think the Amazon influencer program caught on. This group almost got completely taken over by extreme couponing, but what stopped it is it's extraordinarily hard.
Yeah, it's
And you have to be so organized with your coupons, and people were buying these books of coupons, but if you know what you're doing on coupons, you can turn arbitrage into something serious.
but what you were doing with the radio shop. I mean,
Oh yeah, but that's a small, lazy example of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, one of the easiest ways for that was pretty shocking for me was you can contact any of these brands and ask to be put on their email list for any deals that they have. And they'll send it to you. Your email box is going to be full of deals. They will just send you deals. And then you get them and you stack them in your order. But it was shocking.
Another thing is buy gift cards, raise.com.
Yeah, well, that's more for OA, but you can do that. Yeah, you can do like the physical.
Oh, no,
cards.
they
do the
you can
physical
print it out, actually raise,
Oh, yeah,
most
that's
of
right,
them
that's
you
right,
can
you
print
can
it out, or you can even,
from the group actually turned us on to that, what you
I-
raise.com.
yeah, I have,
you can do that.
like,
I
my
used to do that for
account,
Nike.
it's like almost $50,000, it shows that I saved $50,000, that means basically I saved, that was the discount that I get for the last several years.
Well, you just go in there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to Cheesecake Factory. You go in there and you look and.
Oh, you can
They're like, oh,
even,
you can buy a $100 at Cheesecake Factory for $65.
correct,
Yeah.
you can even do it on your phone, buy it at the moment,
you can do it, yeah.
give them, the barcode,
Yeah,
they
you can
scan
do
it. I wouldn't do it, I usually have it printed, I know what I'm doing, but,
No, I've done that too, like at Nike, Adidas. I used to buy the Under Armour, I used to buy the coupons. I would send it to my shopper and then she would just use it. Yeah, you can definitely do it.
yeah.
Big box stores, Walmart, Target, Kohl's, all those humongous stores, malls, outlets, and local stores. Stores only in your area can be a gold mine, so it's like, oh, I know Juanito's grocery store. It's like a little spot somewhere in Hialeah, and it's just like this little small place. Like those type of places are good because they're only there. There's nobody else has them. You can talk to the manager. They can buy you cases. Like you can build a relationship. You can't go to like Walmart. I mean, you could, but it's less likely. You're gonna go to Walmart, speak to the manager, be like, hey, like I want to order a pallet of this stuff, and be like, yeah, right. So could it happen? Yes, I'm sure someone has a story, but it's less likely it's gonna happen. Like they're not gonna really be like, what do you mean? They're not gonna really work with you like that.
What about Costco, Sam's Club? Do those work too?
You can source there. I don't know if you can like place like personal orders, but you can source.
No,
there.
it's sourcing. I mean, it's
Yeah,
sourcing.
source there.
You
I
can
mean,
find
some
stuff.
people find some stuff. It can get saturated because a lot of people go to Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's, but there's stuff there. But you gotta look. The stores are huge, so you gotta, and they change stuff.
What about like I think it was Restaurant Depot or some wholesaler for groceries for restaurants or.
There's I think it's called webrestaurant.com maybe?
Yeah,
There's
I
one
know
that-
yeah.
There's one of those, you have to pay like $100 a month for shipping, for free shipping.
Yeah.
The
But, there's
Trader
different
Joe,
ones.
Trader
Trader
Joe, I mean,
Trader Joe's, don't do it
Yeah.
for Amazon. That I
no,
recommend.
no,
Don't-
for
don't do it
eBay,
Amazon.
but the
Oh, maybe eBay.
1,000, whatever, 1,000.
Thousand Island
Herb, no, 1,000 herb salute or something like that. It's
Speculative
very,
peanut butter.
it's very.
The
it's ve-
Spectaculous peanut butters, I
Yeah.
sold that once.
And
on Walmart, it was pretty
anything
good.
that is seasonal in Trader Joe, like the pasta sauce that has pumpkin, whatever, the pumpkin pasta sauce.
Yeah, on eBay, go for it.
And the
Amazon,
peanut butter.
don't touch it. There's a lot of generic listings. Amazon is a mess with Trader Joe's. I tried it because I've spoken to other sellers. I wanted to try it, and I was like, there's one, it was like 20 minutes from my house, and I was like, well, maybe I'll try it for like a new source of inventory. Spoke to a couple other sellers, like, it's okay, but it's tricky. I was like, I'll try it. But no, it's a pain. Trader Joe's, like, they eyeball you, like, you can't take this many. You wanna know why, like, they get annoying. Like, they'll call the manager, like, they get dumb. So that's the only store that's like a pain, like, is Trader Joe's.
Mhm.
But maybe eBay, I would just say, like, not Amazon. Maybe Walmart. I haven't really dug into it for Walmart. And you can't scan their UPCs either, because the UPCs don't match Amazon. They have,
Mhm.
like, their own UPCs. So just
Yeah.
letting you know that. Can I get rich doing RA? So I thought this was funny. Probably not. So I'll go over that. It takes a lot of capital, credit card debt, time and effort. So, of course, everybody's definition of rich is different from everybody, but I'm talking like your house is paid, like you're good, you know, like you're not like working as much, you have a good chunk of money in the bank. Probably not with RA or OA. I would venture to say both. Can you make money from it? Sure. Can you get rich from it? Probably not. So can you quit your job and like if you're making 200, 150,000 a
You
year
can
in your
swap
job?
jobs.
Yeah. Can you like swap jobs? Yeah, it's a job. It's letting you know. It's a job. Oh, it's being the beach with my laptop. No, you're not. So you're gonna be prepping boxes and being in stores all crazy hours of the day and night. So it is like a job. It eventually will, like I've gotten to that point, like I'm personally trying to slowly get out of RA and OA. I do it still and I do some wholesale, I'm in the influencer program, I'm in Walmart, like I'm trying out Etsy too, like I'm trying out other things to kind of go away from this model. But that's because I've been doing it for a long time, like I didn't just start doing it yesterday. But can you still do it? I think it's a good model to do. I personally don't wanna be like, you know, doing it for the rest of my life, like I don't. So because it does feel like a job eventually. So that's like my little rant about that. But did it afford me doing RA and OA and some wholesale to quit my job as a teacher? Yes. Am I rich? No. But, yeah, but can I pay my bills? Yeah, you know, so.
For sure,
but
you
I'm not
can
rich.
make more than a
It
teacher's
is a
salary.
profitable way to learn
You'd
Amazon.
be surprised, huh?
It is a profitable way to learn Amazon, I think
Yes.
that's.
Yeah, that's a
And-
good
and
way
if
to
you
get your
concentrate
feet
only
wet.
on Amazon, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I know resellers, you know, that make 6 figures a month doing
Nice.
this stuff.
You
know,
put in, you
so-
put in a couple months, in them, say 6 months, if someone put in 6 months in arbitrage,
Mhm.
you're, I'm telling you, 'cause I did arbitrage,
Okay.
is you are probably, not probably, you are significantly more knowledgeable of Amazon,
Mhm.
and how it
Yes,
works,
yeah.
than somebody who's been selling private label for 4 or 5 years. 6
Yeah.
years. You
And-
just are, like, you will know how to solve things
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna
You're in the-
face.
You're in all the
things.
nonsense of Amazon, like all the
that you won't
weeds.
get from private label.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like IP complaints, like you might not even, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you guys get too many with
No,
IP complaints.
unless you just get bored and you report yourself.
Yeah, yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
so
like.
there's no damage done. But for example, when you go ahead and establish a relationship, like let's say, Nordstrom Rack, well, to name one, I get called when they're going to go ahead and have the
A
big
sale.
clearance, okay? But I get called beforehand, like
Yeah.
3 days or 4 days before. I go there, I pick all my stuff, they put it in a rack, okay? And they said, give me your credit card, and then
Yeah.
at the day of the sale, when they open the stores, my credit card gets charged, I go pick up everything
yeah,
and I
that's
walk
good,
away,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
right? So I'm getting, Louis Vuitton, and I'm getting all kinds of stuff really cheap,
Well,
and
yeah,
then
but
I'm
that's
putting
more
it
for
on
like-
eBay.
yeah, that's
And
eBay,
I'm
yeah.
making a lot of money, I mean, so for me, it works, but I have develop
Yeah, but
that
yeah, I was gonna say that's like a-
friendship with them.
Yeah, because that's more of like a unique situation.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be able to get that relationship that you have. I mean, maybe I could, but I
Yeah,
have to,
you
like,
could,
work at it, I
because
gotta
you,
talk to
yeah,
them,
you have to
gotta
go ahead and
reply.
talk to them and
Yeah,
say
it
hi,
takes
and
work.
how's the kids, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember back in the day, let's say before in Nike outlets, before let's say there is a big holiday coming. So let's say Black Friday. So the day before, they'll let all the bulk buyers, that's how they call us, go and buy whatever you want before everybody else come. They
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to
yeah.
do that. It's getting harder and harder. And I'm
Yeah,
not
Nike's
saying
harder than it was
it's
before.
not
Couple years back it
possible,
was
but
easy. Yeah, because a lot of people sell it and they just drop the price to trash. And I know because I see them and I see
no,
what they're
it's-
taking and I'm
it's-
like, why are you taking that?
and
Yeah, why are you?
And Nike
lowering-
also has more
making so
regulation
mad
for
about
the
it?
employees, so it's harder for the stores to give you this extra attention than, it used to be much easier before.
Oh, yeah, I agree. It's a cash flow model, so you constantly have to be feeding the beast to make it work. So I'm just kind of giving you like, not so much the con, but just to like, I like to burst bubbles. I don't like to paint this beautiful rainbow and then you're like, oh, it's not really what he sold me, So just know it is a lot of cash, a lot of capital. You gotta feed it. It's in and out, a lot of cash. So, and I've yet to meet a reseller living large who does RA. Now there's Chris Grant has a podcast. He just did one with a guy doing $100 million a year, just doing like all the models, but mainly like RA, OA, and some wholesale. And there was another guy he did it before that. The guy, it was funny, like he kept saying yo in the podcast. Everything was yo. And he was doing 25 million a year, doing a lot of RA and OA. But again, like, it was like working a lot, and it's a lot of like cash. Like I couldn't sleep, like.
Working a lot, and I heard those, even most of those, just not knocking somebody for it. It's not
Yeah.
like I think they're smart for doing it.
No, yeah, I think
But
so
there's
too.
also like a service or digital product or course component to what they do.
Right.
That they also sell.
Yeah.
That
It's like a backup, yeah, like, so
makes
this
a
thing.
big difference.
Yeah, it makes a difference, yeah, so you're doing all right, I'm doing Nike, whatever, yeah, but you're making 10,000 a month in a course, you can get suspended, you're just making 10 grand, 5 grand a month, you're like, I'm good. Like, you do it, cause you wanna do it, cause it could show that you're in it, but you don't really know everybody online, like, what are they really doing, like, what is their income really like? They don't usually share those numbers. So you don't really know what's going on behind, like Carlos said, behind the kimono, you don't really know. So, yeah, that's
The most
basically it.
time-consuming thing I've faced is like, let's say you buy a bunch of stuff, you gotta clean the label, you may have to put them in
Yeah.
bags, just processing them. If you wholesale, everything comes pre-packed, you just put
Yeah,
the
you just
label,
throw it in
send
a-
it back.
throw it in a box.
With everything, each one you have to personally fix it, so unless you make good profit on each item, it's probably not even worth buying it because it just takes time.
Yeah, RA has a lot of profit. Like I think even more so than OA, like I think you can find a lot of good profitable stuff doing RA, but like I said, it's a good model. Just know that it's time consuming, it's very profitable, but just know you gotta pay, like you gotta put up some cash or some credit card, you can't just go with $10, you need a couple $100, maybe 1,000 and a credit card or something to get started, because you gotta buy inventory, you gotta wait for it to sell.
Or you
So
can go
it's a
to the
flow.
bins.
Huh?
You can go to the bins,
Or you
to
can
the
go to the bin- well-
the Goodwill bins,
Well,
and
that
they,
stuff would
they
be more
charge you by
eBay,
the
yeah.
pound, $1.62 a pound.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm in Amazon, but you can do that for eBay.
Yeah, for
I mean,
eBay.
eBay is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I really sorry, go ahead. I really recommend while you're doing arbitrage, especially while the Amazon influencer program is going, that at a minimum, you're getting a lot of products that's going through your hands. Just review them. Take a few seconds and do a 30-second review on your camera. I don't care if your face is on it or not, just once you get unlocked to be able to make commissions. And review those products. It might be a better opportunity because you just have thousands of products going through your hands.
But you can't review products.
But can you,
yourself.
yeah, I don't think you can review stuff that you can sell.
Well, you can have 1 different accounts, right? You can't review your own brand, but can you
No.
review
Yeah, but
yourself?
No,
But what you do the review once it sells through, because you find a deal, it sells through, it doesn't come your way anymore. You take away the listing. Can you do it after that?
I heard that you can't review what you sell. And I saw on Instagram this one guy, he did it and he got suspended from the influencer program.
Well, I would look into that.
But
I would definitely look into that.
Yeah, I would look into it.
What
yeah.
if
But I haven't done it.
So if
again,
you're
after you
selling
sell
the
through, you
product,
just
you
delete the
cannot review
listing
the
and
product.
Not
I,
100% sure. I know you can't review what I interpreted as your own brand, but it could have been the way he's saying.
Yeah, 'cause
And
you
I
know
just
Amazon
always
is
interpreted that
connected.
means my brand.
Oh, yeah.
have a different
Another
account.
thing that is really, really
Yeah.
bad, because you said, that
I mean, yeah, but
you,
if
you
have
get a
different
lot of
account,
debt,
and
you
use,
put
like,
it in the
same
credit
IP
card and
address.
everything.
Yeah,
else.
you have to
have different IP,
Yeah, with the credit card, you know, you charge, let's say you
Because
charge
Not only
$1,000 with
the IP,
it.
they do accounts
And,
with
and the stores don't look, they don't look good on you, but let's say that I bought some stuff and it didn't sell,
Yeah.
okay? And I end the auctions, I do mostly I sell on eBay or
Yeah.
Poshmark, okay? But I do the auction or I end it 3 days before
Yeah.
my receipt expires with the 30
Oh,
days.
you return.
And then I return
yeah,
it.
but
They don't
yeah.
look at, they hate that, they
Oh, yeah.
hate that,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But, you know, if you don't wanna go ahead and amass debt and you didn't sell the
Yeah.
item, take it back.
Yeah. In
And-
this case, I mean, with FBA and WFS for Walmart, it's tricky because it's in a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah,
But if eBay, yeah, eBay, you have more wiggle room. With Amazon, it's tricky because you're shipping it and it's somewhere out there. I
Yeah.
don't know where it is.
or if you do fulfillment by seller,
Yeah, if
which
you
I
do
do.
FBM, yeah, you can do that too. I mean, that's where the space will come in because then you'd have a ton of stuff everywhere. It doesn't sell, you gotta return it. Like it's you gotta see how you want to play the game. I guess.
Wow, so you know somebody that got suspended?
Yeah. Then
It's a
he got
reseller.
reinstated because he had to like go to the chat and talk and beg for mercy.
Super interesting.
Beg for mercy.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That one.
To the Amazon chat. Yeah.
I
But-
think all of us have begged, I mean, I had
But
to
I've
beg
heard
for
that,
mercy.
like everybody with like I'm in the group I mentioned to you for most of them are resellers. Everybody the moment they join they're like, can I do a review on my stuff? Everybody's like, no, like don't do it. Yeah, supposedly you're not supposed to. So,
So-
I haven't done it because I don't want to risk it. But
If a product moves only like 6 times a month, would you resell that product?
with the drops in Keepa, like the 6 drops.
No. If a product only sells 6 times a month, right? If you're
Oh, like
looking for a product-
you already tested it and it sold 6 times.
No, you're looking for a product in the store and it says this product estimated sales 6.
How many
But
resellers?
it never says that though. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
No, on
the
sell-
minimum I
on
think is
seller
like
app it
50.
says it.
But SellerM's numbers are wrong, so I don't.
But-
I don't know
but-
what's
but-
up.
but-
But if, let's say
It's
it
an
did.
estimate.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
estimate,
right. But I mean,
And
I don't
then
trust
Let's say
it
there's 4 sellers.
By two.
by 2. Yeah.
No. Would you even consider selling that product?
If I'm
Depends
standing
on
in
the
front of it in the store, yeah, just
Yeah.
add to cart, yeah.
It
Okay.
depends on the profit. If it's good profit, 100, 150%.
What if there's only like $4 profit?
Oh,
How much is the product?
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Let's say $6.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, what's
I
profit
would.
on a $6 purchase? I'm buying it. Yeah, I'm just going like, bloop, bloop.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't. if
Would
it's-
you buy a
I'm gonna
product?
put $6 and I make $4 profit just by
Right.
putting it over there and I'm already in the store?
Right.
Would I go to the store for it? No.
Right.
No.
In the store, I would.
Yeah.
Would you sell a
I'll be the
product?
odd man out.
Would you sell a product that's easy to ship, easy to prep if you're making $2?
But okay, but then what's the ROI? Because like $2 could be 1% or 100%.
I sold, fit in. I still used to sell these little He-Man figurines or like these, that I'd make like $2 off of or something.
Those are the easiest thing to
Well, the
ship.
thing is, they were ranked like 180.
Oh my gosh.
The return rate on these things are indestructible. They're for kids, so like the
Right.
return rate I felt was like non-existent.
Yeah.
So I would just, I would get them all, and then I'd get the SKU, and I'd go to them and say, hey, how many in neighboring stores can you put on hold for me? I'm gonna go wipe everything out. And I'd buy thousands of them at $2, I'm gonna send them, and they're gonna sell immediately, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me it depends on. So
You
how
ever
do
seen
I?
a He-Man break?
No. Like for
No,
me, when
never.
to purchase stuff, I
Like,
look
I
at
have
profit and
boys.
ROI. So for me, if you're doing RA, I prefer 40% ROI and up. I like $3 profit and up. I don't trust SellerM's numbers, so I don't even use SellerM. I don't care what Flip for Miles or everybody else says. I don't trust their numbers. So I look at Keepa. I trust Keepa over anybody. So I look at Keepa. If I look at the drops, there's a thing that says statistics. I look at that. If it says 6 drops per month, that means it's really bad. I usually try to stick to like 15 drops per month or more. 10 drops or more if the profit is like really good. Like it's like $3-4 and I'm gonna make 5 or 6. Like I'll roll the dice. But if it's like the Keepa looks really, it's like a long line like this and it drops, and a long line like this and it drops, I'm not touching.
What
So, but
do
that's
you mean
meaning
by
Keepa.
drops?
So when you go to Keepa, it'll say statistics at the
Uh-huh.
bottom, and then you go there to say drops, and it'll have a number. I like 15 drops per month. It is not 15 sales per month. So
Oh,
in
drops,
case
that
Chris
means
Graham
sales?
watches this and emails me. Huh?
Drops is like equivalent of sales? Or?
No.
Oh,
So
okay.
drops just means that the rank dropped 15 times. So it went from 100,000 to 90,000, then 100, then to 80. Like
Oh,
it
I
kept
see, I
dropping.
see, I see, I
So every
see.
time it drops, could be a sale, could be that just a rotation of all the items.
Six
Kind of
drops
around.
means it might
Oh,
be
no,
gathering
you
dust.
mean the ranking
Yeah,
drop,
it could
okay,
be just
okay,
gathering
okay,
dust,
yeah,
yeah.
no,
So,
I
yeah,
understand.
you can, oh, that's good profit. Yeah, but it might sit there for 3 months, 2 months. It's like, do I want to wait 2 months to make $6? No. So I'd rather the saying, the fast nickel over a slow dime. I like that. I like it in and out. I don't want to be there for 3 months to make $5. Like I don't care about that. So,
If,
but that's,
if I'm in the store and it says there's like $2, what I'm asking myself is, I look at the packaging. So is this the type of
Yeah.
packaging that can get damaged pretty easy going into FBA? If so, it's going to unsellable. I'm not dealing with it. $2, I can get my profit margin wiped out almost immediately with just the packaging being listed as unsellable.
yeah.
But on something like that, do you look at like, say, buy box statistics? Because let's say there's 3 sellers on there, you're not keeping, you look at the statistics and one guy is getting the buy
Yeah,
box
they're like
95%
90% of the time.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
would do that. I would look at the statistics if it's, like if I'm not sure, but if the keeper looks good, the drop, everything looks good for me, I hardly ever look at the buy box statistics unless it's like Amazon is there, because they hold the buy box like forever. Like,
When I used to do Amazon, we didn't even get that buy box statistic data, and it was pretty much equal. If you were on there and you matched the price, it just rotated equally.
Yeah, no, now it's.
Now it's
Yeah,
different.
I don't feel like it rotates at all anymore. It's like you see that.
Yeah, you gotta drop it like,
Yeah.
like they're at 20, you gotta drop to like 19 or 18. So you gotta be like, can I do that? You know, is the profit there? So I kinda have to do all that math in my head, like, okay, Amazon's there, can I beat them at the buy box or less? If I can't,
But
I move on. Yeah, I'm very picky when it comes to like stuff, because I've already done it so long, that I don't like having stuff sitting there for 4 months. Oh, I made $5. It's like, yeah, 4 months, you know, like.
Do you do generic listings?
No. Run the other way. Run for your life. Don't
What
touch
is it? What?
Avoid them,
Generic
right?
listings, yeah. So before people loved generic, oh generic, so they would find,
There's courses on it.
yeah, there were courses, yeah. Like so you would take a picture, I don't know, it's a good like this. Let's say this helmet was from Disney because they own Star Wars. So and then you would take a picture of the helmet, you do a photo room or something, you clear the background, you make your listing, and you can't list Disney because you're restricted or something. So you put it under generic. You're like, I went around it, so I'm gonna sell it. I'm be the only seller. Well,
Ooh.
last year Amazon just wiped out a lot of people because they were all doing generic, and everybody was freaking out. Even me, I had like 2. I didn't even know like they were generic because I don't sell generic, but I didn't notice like 2 listings were under like a different brand, so I deleted it. But some people were just doing generic because it was profitable. Like it would be a different listing. Amazon would be on this one selling it for $10.99. You make your listing, you're selling it for $24. You know, and you still have reviews, and it was like everything was gravy. Amazon cleaned up everybody, started knocking out everybody in their mouth. Like, I think they Section 3'd everybody. So that's where the whole Section 3
kids
turned.
out of private school. A lot of people want to pull their kids out of private school.
Yeah, a lot of people, yeah. So don't touch, they're still there, oh, but they're still there, and it has reviews, and it's profitable, and there's still sellers. Don't do it. Don't do
Is
it.
that like an issue when you're just trying to sell the same item rather than creating a unique listing? So if you did a bundle or a multi-pack that didn't exist, is that still an issue?
That's different, as long as you don't, I guess unless, if it's a bundle, then that's a whole other thing, because, you know, you have to have permission from the brand, and all of that. If it's a multi-pack,
Should.
yeah, you should.
It's RA, I don't have permission for it.
Yeah, so if you're doing RA, I don't even think about making listings, because it's like, I found it, I'm not gonna make a listing for this 5
Don't
units
do
that I
that,
found,
look.
so I don't care. So I personally, I don't touch generic, I don't make listings, I don't do none of that, because for RA, OA, it's not worth it. Like wholesale, then you can think about it, because you have the brand, you can ask them permission, maybe you're ungated, you can list under that brand, like it's different. But for RA, if you see generic, when you scan something on the app, if the brand says generic, just go to right back. Okay. You know, just
Yeah.
walk away. Don't try it.
two questions. So, do you have any tips on how to ungate some brands for Amazon? You know, when let's say Nike, unless you provide them, you know, if you're not ungated, you have to provide them with an invoice from a legitimate supplier, and it's really hard to find those invoices. Any tips how to do that?
Sure. You can try Target. Target works. Not for, I don't know for Nike.
Okay.
But I mean just in general. So
Okay.
nobody comes after me about Nike.
So like a receipt from Target?
Yeah, so there's different, so I'll give you a couple. So Target is one, because when you buy it online, it actually says invoice at the top.
Yeah, okay.
Amazon sometimes will take it. So,
Yeah.
so if somebody finds me later and says, I did the Target thing, it didn't work. I don't work at Amazon, so I just know it works
Yeah.
sometimes. Kohl's works also sometimes because it looks like an invoice. I've done it with Kohl's, I've done it with Target.
The problem
I've
with,
done it Walmart. and it
with
works.
Kohl's is it's gonna work if they ship it all together.
Yeah, that too, but again, it's Amazon, like, you can just, I like to try
No,
stuff.
because
So-
I've tried and
Yeah.
Target work, Kohl's didn't work because let's say you order 10 items, you need to order 10.
Yeah.
But then they split the shipments from 10 different stores
I know, yeah,
and
then-
each
then
one
you
comes
kinda
with an
like-
invoice, but it says quantity of one.
Oh, no,
and
then
then
you're
you're
kind of
"Ah."
yeah, that.
So it depends what you buy.
depends. Yeah, it depends on what you buy. You can do the Amazon to Amazon trick. You open an Amazon business account without Prime. You buy 10 from Amazon being the seller, not from Joey's warehouse.
Uh-huh.
The seller has to be Amazon.com, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. You buy 10 of the
Whatever.
Tom Ford lipsticks
Okay.
on your business account, and you don't use Prime. You use Prime and they find you, they'll shut down your account, so don't do it. That's what I've heard. I haven't done it, but it's, it's a risk, don't do
But
it.
is it the same account that is also your seller account?
No, because it's a different account. So you would put a different email, but you can put the same business name. I have it under the same business name, I just have it under a different email because I can't use the same email for the personal and the business. Like they ask you, put your email, and then when you put your personal email, they go, oh, no, the email's taken, put a different one, So I put a different email, I buy 10, Amazon ships it to you, you get the invoice from Amazon, and you use that to get it gated. Now, that still works, I've heard. It used to work easier. Then everybody online started talking about it. So of course, so now that everybody does it, now Amazon started putting a little clause that sometimes it works, like sometimes it'll say like you need to order 50 units. Before it used to say 10, now it says 50. But sometimes people still use the 10 and they take it. So again, Amazon is not as clear cut and beautiful and clean and organized as you would imagine. Oh, but they're a huge company. That's awesome. They're not. They're held by bubble gum. Like it's just like it's a hot mess. So you just try and you see what happens.
See if it
Don't
sticks.
overthink it. Yeah, don't oh, but what if it doesn't work? But what if just try it. Worst case, well, what happens if it doesn't work? You return it to Amazon and you move on with your life.
To actually buy the 41 that you need to buy or wait for the.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's up to you. You can try one of those methods. I mean, honestly, I've tried like with Walmart. I did a Walgreens receipt once, and they took it for Squishmallows, and I got to give them Squishmallows.
Oh,
A Walgreens receipt.
I've
Why did it
noticed-
work? I don't know, but it worked.
I've
So,
noticed this
I'm not asking any
actually.
questions.
The first few times it's gonna be probably a live person reviewing, so it really has to be something legit. And once you kind of pass some threshold, almost any invoice you send them, it's an AI, unless it's something really messy. It just says okay, because now when I apply, it's less than a minute. It says you approve,
Yeah,
after.
they're pretty quick. Yeah, I don't think anybody.
But in the beginning, I had to wait days, and it was a person that reviewed the.
I don't mean, yeah, it's very random. So that's
So,
why I
yeah.
always say just try. Worst case scenario, you return it. You didn't lose any money. So, just you gotta do business, this type of stuff. You just gotta try stuff.
Mike, you got a question?
Oh, yes, sir.
Juan Velasquez says, general question, how does the manufacturer's warranty work in FBA or arbitrage? Who is responsible?
Well, yeah, that's a good one. So
Oh,
you can
that's-
get an IP complaint for that sometimes. Like they'll say, oh, there's no, like you'll get a Voorhees letter or some letter from somebody saying, oh, you don't have the warranty of this item. So in that case, if you do get an IP complaint or whatever, I personally, if the brand starts complaining, I liquidate it. Either I'll try to have like 1 or 2 units, I try to drop the pricing, and I delete the listing, I sell it, and I get out. Or I'll just delete it, I'll have it shipped back to me, and I walk away. I try not to play with that. Like for like 2-3 units I bought in XYZ store, like I'm not gonna lose my account or go to court for like, like a bag of peanuts or something, I don't care. So I do that. So there's really nothing you can do about it. Like if you have no warranty, you can't provide a warranty, so I'm kind of skirting that a little bit. So some brands like electronics, like Netgear and stuff like that, you have to have a warranty. You can't sell those brands, so yeah.
How much
So
should
how
we?
do-
Oh, no, sorry.
Didn't go fast. Sorry. So how do you determine the variation over like 50, like such a like 50s and 100 variations Like especially like in apparel, like shoe.
Good
Apparel.
question. Yeah, so with variations, what I like to do, okay, so if I'm in the store, I tend not to like honestly look at Keepa, go to variations. Well, the way should do it is you should go to Keepa. It has a variations tab. You click that, and it'll have a bunch of data. And one of those rows says reviews. I sort it by reviews. And then the top one will have a little trophy, and then just goes, the trophy's like the number one. And then it just goes down and just gets worse as you go down. So the first ones at the top are the best. The poor man's way to figure it out is just to know your sizes and colors. So like a size 15 shoe is probably not gonna sell as fast as like a size 9 for men, you know. A size 10 for women is not gonna sell as fast as a 7. Usually 7 is like the common size for women. I don't know the sizes. Google common sizes for men's shoes, common sizes for women's shoes. That's kind of like the range you wanna stay in. Colors the same. I used to think when I was first doing a lot of clothing and shoes, I'm like, oh, like those cool designs that they look cool, you know? No, the most plain thing in the world, that's what sells. Like the plain Nike. White with a little swoosh. Or the Puma, it's black and a little Puma here. That's it, that's what sells. And I'm like, it's so boring, like why would you, I don't even want it, you know?
No fuchsia.
No color, the tie-dye and like the, retro wavy thing, none of that. The most boringest stuff you can see, that's the stuff that sells.
And usually another thing with variations, let's say I'm trying to buy size 10 shoe in black, and I can probably sell it for $100 and be the lowest price, but then I see that the white one is being sold for $50,
Yeah, that's
then I
another
wouldn't
way.
buy it. So
Yeah.
you also have to compare,
Compare
based
prices.
on the other colors. Maybe it looks like a good deal, but it's not. It's just
It's just overpriced. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's another good point, yeah. I do that too. If I see like, just this one size is like 75, and everything else is like 30-something, I'm like,
You still
why
use,
would you pay 70?
you still use RevSeller?
Yeah, I still use
You were mentioning,
Huh?
RevSeller lets you break out the,
Uh-huh, yeah.
it'll show you all, you go to
I'm
something,
sorry,
it could have a bazillion variations, and you pop open RevSeller, and then it's gonna show you all the variations, even what's not currently in stock.
Yeah.
And it's gonna show you the reviews that they have at a variation level. So then you can look at this and say, well, the one that has the most reviews is the hottest seller, and then just work it backwards and say those are, it's kind of obvious. The hottest sellers are gonna be the ones that have the reviews and then the most reviews.
Helium 10, I think they also have something.
Yeah, but if not RevSeller.
Yeah, Keepa RevSeller does it too. Keepa also does
But
it.
Wasn't there something called,
RevSeller
what about DS Quick View? Is that still around or
It's
something?
still around. I don't use it because RevSeller does it
Yeah.
already for you. So.
Is there any way to figure out, let's say, you look at you use Helium 10 or Jungle Scout, and there is a listing with 10 variations, and it tells you it sells 100 units a month. But that's 100 units distributed among all the
Throughout
variations.
the
So is there any way, any service on the market where it can tell you how this exact variation, how many it sold or estimate?
The best
It
I
used
know
to
is
be in the
Yeah, the best
which
I
one?
know is RevSeller.
The best thing I know for that is RevSeller.
Repsol?
They don't, the short answer is no, they do not give you the breakout
They
of
don't give you
sales
that.
out of
No,
variation.
because I think Amazon 5-6 years ago, they used to, but now they give less information.
I've never known them to do that.
Oh,
I
no,
don't think I've
So-
ever done that.
I talked to somebody from Helium 10, they told me, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, they used to provide this information, but they roll it back.
Oh,
So without this information, no software on the market can,
I bet you what they were doing is they were doing an estimation off of what they pulled from something like RevSeller, because
I don't know.
Yeah. I would say RevSeller is your best bet.
Okay.
And if you're out in the field, keep them. Open up the Keepa app, go to variations, sort it by reviews. It's not exact, but it's better than nothing, you know? Yes, sir.
What do you use for like a repricer? Do you use any
I use
repricer?
Aura.
Aura?
Aura.
How
I
do you
like it.
spell
AURA. Yeah, I really like it. I don't really like their AI for me, but it's not knocking the AI, I just don't use it. I just use like their straight repricing. I like it. They have a $27 plan until you hit 10,000 in sales, and then after that it's 97 until you hit, I don't remember the number, 50, 100,000, I don't know that, now I forget. But I pay the 97, so, yeah.
let's do this so we can wrap up the stream.
I don't know if you're able to stay for a little bit, or you might have to go, or you want to go.
She's good. She's at home. I was just looking at. She's doing okay.
Well, maybe you can stay around for a bit.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up here. I don't know if Patty has to go, but thank you for the cookies, Patty.
Oh.
Patty's a very experienced seller too, if anyone wants to network with her while she's here.
If you guys wanna ask any questions,
Yeah, well, we'll wrap up the stream. Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you.